And a good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Monday night edition of Wheel People. I'm your host, Ed Lamberton. For the next couple of hours or so, we'll be talking about the great sport of auto racing here in the great Northeast. And it looks like I'm crooked here. There we go. Yeah, kind of I was really looking forward to tonight to talk some history. So this will probably be one for the old folks, and hopefully you younger followers and race fans can relate to pretty much most of the guys we're going to talk about tonight. We have Eric Mack, the Hall of Fame crew chief, the racer himself, the partner, one of the partners in the DKM uh, manufacturing company, and Eric's pretty much done it all, and done it for quite a while. He's not old like I am, but he's old enough and grew up in the 60s, 70s or so, and working with Maynard Ferret. I'll have to ask if Maynard was where he really got his start, or whether it was somebody else before that. I don't know. Good evening, Jeff. Um, and yeah, I got some old books, Fonda, of course, the Fonda book, and the I don't know how many of you have the first Fonda book, which was you that one, and then there's also this one that came out in oops, that's terrible, 1966 for the 25th anniversary. So this was 50 years ago. This one came out. They were on, and so we can fan through those and come up with some maybe names that we don't, some people might not recognize now, but we're certainly part of Fonda history, when there's a lot of history there, that's for sure. But Eric Mack will be with us to talk about that, as Brett Deo, the promoter of Fonda Speedway, has put Eric in charge of this 75-year celebration. And it's going to be a good one. You're going to hear me say this more than once this evening. If you haven't been to Fonda in a long time, shame on you. And there's, multitude of reasons why some of you haven't over the years. The old timers, it's not like, our guys are gone and not there. But we got some damn good guys now. We have history being made with every time that Stuart Friesen steps in victory lane. Over 100 wins now. Kenny Gates is struggling a little bit to get his 101, but he got the 100 at the end of last year, so I'm sure he'll add to that deal. So we're watching history in the making here right now at Fonda Speedway. So I'm sorry about all you Lebanon Valley and Malta and Utica Rome and whatever fans. We're gonna pretty much concentrate on Fonda tonight. After we get done talking with Eric about the night coming up, the history of different folks, and we will swing over to a gentleman who certainly has been in the record books at Fonda for a while, track champions and whatever. Cousin Luke, who is kind of on a roll right now. Three wins in a row for the Cuz. 2 at Utica and 1 at Fonda, and he was looking to make it 4 at Fonda on Saturday night, but that did not work out too well. That was a crazy night for everybody on Saturday night. Made the trip down to the NISCA Awards ceremonies over at the museum, and if you haven't been to the museum, please do that Saturday. As Eric will tell you when he gets here, we're going to have some of the modified greats, or the sportsman greats, and pro stock guys and everything from the ages at Fonda on Saturday. They'll be there starting at 3:30 with autographs, and the Mohawk Valley Vintage Club is going to series is going to be at in front of the museum on display with some of the cars, and they're also going to race later on in the evening. And so it's just going to be a busy day. Plan on spending the whole day at Fonda if you can. Get down there at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and you will have to, hopefully, you'll have to look for a parking spot. So get there early. Anyway, just like the good old days. This should be a great night at Fonda. So we're really looking forward to that, and hopefully, Mother Nature. Well, we're on a schedule here. Fonda races, then it rains the next week. Fonda races, then it rains the next week, and then Fonda races, and then it rains again next week. So we're on the Fonda races week coming up. So we should be good. We better be good because we're all getting tired of these rainouts. Hope everybody saved their wristbands because they will be good for admission on Saturday. Admission for Saturday is going to be $5 more than regular because of all the doings going on, and extra laps, more money for the modified class, and the vintage cars, the whole deal. So it's still a bargain. And I know there's a lot of people that were there Saturday night, never got to see anything. So Brett's come up with a kind of a neat idea, I think, to kind of help them. I mean, wristbands, if you've got a wristband from last week, pit passes and all that stuff, they're all good, but just be sure to bring them for this week. So you're getting a bargain because the front gate is up $5 this week. So if you get there early, between 3 and 4, I believe it is, Eric, I'm sure we'll have some of that for me. Or Ron, you probably could throw it at us if you want to. But 3 to 4, it's I think $15, and then after 4 o'clock it goes to the 20. It's a pretty good deal. You know, he's trying to get the people that were there to come back. That's for sure. But with the weatherman, you never know how it's going to work out. So that's what we're going to do. And then, like I say, we're going to talk to Eric about some of the good old days and who he's got coming. He's got a pretty good list, 7 or 8 of the real top names in the Northeast will be at Fonda. Well, you probably have seen some of them, but we will have more as well. And we know that Hall of Famers, the Palmers, will be there. Hope everything went well there this week. And no, so it's going to be a great night. And 50-50 is rolling over. I see Heather's with us tonight. Just a super job the week before. No idea how you guys figured that out, but it worked pretty good. But this past week, Mother Nature got that. He got the Glen Ridge Motorsports Park biggest show of the year. The 358 Super Dirt Series event was canceled. Ray is working with dirt officials to try to see if he can't reschedule that sometimes in the rest of the summer here, because that's always a big deal for everyone at the Ridge, that's for sure. And unfortunately that didn't happen. Over at Albany, Saratoga, we had a nice weather day finally, and the place was filled as usual. Been a little off last couple of weeks because of cold weather or whatever, but they've done a great job of keeping that place going this year. And certainly some, the fans are never probably always 100% happy. They should be, because we still have 4 or 5 racetracks here in the area within an hour's drive or so. So we're pretty damn lucky here, so and spoiled. But certainly track surface has changed since Lyle's gone there. But the majority of the guys I talked to in the pits are happy with it. They're adapting, and some better than others, that's for sure. Jack Lehner came from 16th for the win on Friday night in a great bottom feeder run. He just stayed on the bottom, and it was just like the seas parted. Everybody moved up, and Jack went to the front and picked up the big win. They had a little controversial restart there about 3/4 of the way through, and depends on who you talk to. They agree with the call, and the other half don't. But that's why it's a sport that there's a lot of um, second guessing going on, whatever you will. So, but they all had to do it, and some guys thought, well, I could have won that if I did this, that, and the other thing. But oops. Oh, okay, that was somebody else. My phone should not be doing that. Okay. Anyhow, so that's what we're gonna do. And after Friday night at Albany Saratoga in the modified division, Matt DiLorenzo, who had his worst night, like I say, Matt has had that place figured out all season long. He's been past the most cars usually every week. Starts 10th, 11th, 12th, whatever. He's had a second, third, second, third. So that's the worst he's finished is third up until Friday night. And Friday night, be whatever it may, the track threw him a curveball. He looked great in the heat race, but come feature time, Matt started 13th, 14th, and finished 11th. His worst, but he's still the points leader with a pretty good finishing average. Mike Mahaney, who was consistently battling his way to the front as well, finished in the runner-up spot on Friday night. He is second in points. Peter Britton, who actually wasn't there, but he still Albany Saratoga has a great deal. I think probably most tracks would do it if they were asked. They have a mulligan or whatever for 1 week and 1 week only, I believe, is what it states. You can get a substitute driver, which he did. Had Colby Schroeder, and Colby did a good job. I mean, Pete had won the week before, and Colby he went forward. He did pass cars, so that was still a good thing. But Peter came home with a 7th place on Friday, so he is third in points. Jack Lehner, of course, with a big win. Jack has 2 wins now, but he also has a 23rd and a 22nd. So that's how that that rolls. And we're talking, less than 40 points separate those guys there. And Mark Johnson, who worked his way from the back to an 8th place spot. Now, last week he couldn't go anywhere, so it's just crazy. And Brian Calabrese, who has had some great runs in the top 5 here the last couple of weeks, he had an off night. He was 17th, so he dropped 2 spots to 7th, but still in the top 10 for, he was right. But, I see right on time. Eric is coming up the palatial steps here, and we will be getting to him momentarily. And I see we got a great group of folks on. Come on in. Have a seat. You got a lot of fans. We got big numbers here already here. So we're waiting for you to show up.
Nice.
Anyway, thanks for coming. And let me get you. There we go.
There I am.
There you are.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thank you, waiter. We'll tip you a little bit later. Anyway, let's start. So how did you, I know I talked to Brett Dale down at, I think it was in Charlotte, when he was already talking about this 75th celebration, and he told me back at that time that, is that you or me?
That's me.
Okay. He told me that he was putting you in charge. I don't know if you volunteered or else you got
it was one of the things when I went to Charlotte and Matson's and Deo and all them were around. He's like, EMAC, next year's the 75th anniversary, and I need you to help me with this thing. Okay. I'm like, all right. So, I didn't want to say no because I feel like it's a very important thing.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And the biggest thing is it's a milestone that, a lot of us might not see the 100th one. So,
yes.
You know what I mean? So a lot of us who put our time and efforts in for how many years down there, that was our Saturday night way of living and everything. I thought that I had to do it.
Good. So, and I know sometimes when people say, "Can you help?" that means can you do it all?
Well,
So I think
no, it's just,
yeah, Brett Stutz.
you know, but yeah, but,
yeah.
but you know, I mean, I have a good foundation with everything, and
Yep.
you know, I mean, I have a lot of good ties with everyone. You know what I mean? So I'm fortunate enough. So it was easy to get the people that involved, and some people really stepped up and wanted to do it, and so I think it's going to be really good.
Oh, let's see. I don't know which way to do this, but I got a bunch of pictures that actually you had put up. Let's see how we can. So we just we're gonna we're gonna call out names here tonight a lot.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I don't know why I started. I mean, I got to be honest with you. Billy was one of my favorites right along. And since I was doing this, I started doing the radio thing. I had to stop having favorites because that doesn't look good. But of course, Jack Johnson was my Fonda. Well, Steve Danish was my first Fonda. But anyway, but Billy, when Billy won the the sprint car race, the World of Outlaw race back years ago in the sprint cars and beat those guys, I said, that's it, this guy. And then he went on to win asphalt races at Flemington after they paved that place. So the guy could drive anything, won with everything, won a lot of races. Probably not as much as Brett, but he's still one of the most famous modified drivers. And he's going to be here with a race car? Is that?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, he's going to be here with the same race car that he won back in '85 in the series race.
Okay, so this is it.
That's it.
This is the
Oh,
Blasio,
yeah.
the Blasio
Yep,
car.
very nicely done. I mean, he does really good work.
Yeah. No, you didn't have anything to do with this car?
No.
Billy did that himself.
Billy and a few guys down there. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So Pouch will be in the house.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Well, Mandy may show up too. You never know. She likes to be with Dad. you never. I know.
You know what I mean?
But anyway, yeah, he was one of the first that you
Yeah, he was
had contacted.
Yeah, he was like the first one.
Was he?
Yeah. Well, we reached out and he was the. Oh, I'd love to come to that. So that's really good.
Perfect. And I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that don't know or go back that far, but Billy wasn't a big winner Fonda, but he didn't race there that much. But he loved the place.
No, but I mean, one win in '85, and
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
you still remember it. I mean, that's how the legend of Fonda Speedway's been. Through the years, guys have come in and done very well, and the outside invaders. I mean, this whole deal putting together, trying, looking up people, and unfortunately, the Mount Rushmore, most of them are gone, and
Yeah.
for Fonda, and it's like these guys have really stepped up, so Fonda has meant a lot to everybody, so like to come in years ago and race Lou Lazaro and Jack Johnson and Dave Lape, I mean, it was huge for these guys,
Yep.
No different than it would be when Jack Johnson and CD and them guys all went to Eastern States and won, and
Yep.
So,
Well, that was a big deal when Jack, I don't know if he was a regular down there, but when he won the first Flemington 100 lapper or whatever the hell it was, that was the first time that anybody, I don't know from New York State, but one of the rare times that somebody from up here beat those guys down there back in the day. And, Jack, they loved Jack down there as well as they did up here. But, yeah, so Billy, like I say, I've always had a soft spot for Bill, that's for sure. So it'll be great to see him there. And this next one, most everybody have seen this guy before on TV and whatever. We're still good to go with him because I know
absolutely.
the last time I saw Dick Berggren, in case anybody doesn't know the famous Dick Berggren, well, you can go ahead.
I mean, a legend in motorsports from
He raced Fonda.
Yeah, from that.
A lot of people don't remember that.
From NASCAR to, the weekly racers and, through the years. And I mean, he's been there all along. And it's probably been, a lot of, I mean, he was basically the magazine editor and then owner and everything else. I mean, so he's spent his whole life,
Now he's a curator of the New England Hall of Fame that's over by Loudon, not too far from the racetrack. Have been fortunate enough to get there a couple of times.
And really, he's like, the last of the surviving like compared like the Chris Economackies and
Mm-hmm.
Ken Squires and
Yep.
so basically you have him, Jackaroo, and I mean there's only
Yep. Mike Joy is slowly catching up there. Mike is.
yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean?
And
So,
Mike, yeah.
so
But
I mean, yeah.
but the fact that I think I'm sure a lot of the younger fans nowadays don't realize that Dick actually raced, and that was unique. There was Lou Boyd, who is Lou coming or
Yep.
okay,
Yep. He's
great.
coming.
I kind of assume those guys might come together because they used to race, come all the way from damn near the ocean side of Massachusetts to race Fonda every Saturday night. He and Lou Boyd and come on, help me out here. I can see it. I know there's somebody out there. We joked a Jewish fellow anyway. It's Cohen, Bruce Cohen.
Okay.
Yeah, but they used to. Well, Dick had told me this story. I don't know, maybe pass it along, or that he they didn't have enough money for each of them to have a car, so they all kind of chipped in and they raced, and they found, like Lou said, he probably was the worst one of the bunch, but he still got to race. Bruce didn't race a lot, but they used to switch. One week, one guy would drive the other. But to come that far and what they turned into, I mean, Lou of course, has the publishing company, very intelligent man.
Oh, yeah.
Most all of the books that you can get from him, they're the Fonda book and all this other stuff. He helped write that, and
so many other ones. So many wonderful projects.
Yep. And Lou is a really, really great guy. Well, they all are actually, but when I was a kid, I mean, this was before your time actually, right? Because you don't remember these guys racing at Fonda. No. When I was a kid, so these guys were coming from, to me, it was across the country to come every Saturday. And I think my daughter lives in Boston, so it's 3 hours, so at least 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
One way, 6 hours to race at Honda Speedway, and
yeah, that's pretty crazy.
And they both, or all three of them. Bruce still going. They're all going. They started the Spring Sizzler over at Stafford Springs years ago as a way to make money. And they said they did for the first couple of years.
And he's such a good voice of racing.
Oh yes.
I mean, when you hear him speak, a lot of people hear him speak. Okay, I remember.
Yeah.
I know who this guy.
Well, like I said, and I forgot because I get rambling. But the last I saw Dick at Fonda was, I don't think it was last year. Maybe it was the year before. But just like ever, he was standing in turn 4 by the Cow Palace on the spectator side, right up against the fence with his camera. He says, I'm trying to get, I told him, I said, that's probably not the smartest place to stand. He said, yeah, I know that. But he says, I was on the other side, so I'm not very smart either. I said, no, that's true. But anyway, he says, I want to get shots of these cars. He said, this is a unique shot here. He said, but he was out. He still loves racing, and it's going to be so great to see him. That's for sure. Let's see, we got another one who, whether you believe everybody or not, but you start going down through the stats, he's probably the GOAT. Overall.
There isn't anybody
because,
better than
and I was astounded at that, or not astounded, I don't know why, but because I probably saw most of them. He's won 100, or not 100. What did he won? 26 features at Fonda?
26 features at Fonda, but I want to say 21 of them have been of 100 laps or
Yeah,
more.
right.
So, or of a series race or
really?
something.
Well, that's about the only time he came to Fonda.
Yeah.
Was
incredible. I mean, most people would. I mean, I changed my racing career just to have his Fonda stats.
Yeah, right. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 27 feature wins for a non-regular. I mean, there's regulars that have been there all their lives and don't have 26 feature wins. But no, it was. I see Tim Gibson, who is going. Well, we'll get to you in a minute, Tim. We'll finish up with Brett. But yeah, who was I? Boy, I can't remember. I don't think it was Stewart, but maybe Shep. I don't know. One of the best around today said that yes, you can argue about who was better back in the day, him or Dan or whatever, but when you go. Maybe it was Jay Castlemar because he worked for him. But when you actually line up the feature wins that he had at I don't know, 30, 40 different tracks.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody close.
No.
You know, at one track, like Jack had 149 or whatever here. Um, he had 100 and some down in Orange County, and he had
I mean,
100 at Lebanon,
Yeah.
and I don't know if he had 100 at Utica or Albany Saratoga or not.
It's got to be close.
It's got to be close. But I'm going to say the numbers are, staggering. Anyway, Brett is coming, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep. And I know you've heard that, and probably Tim has too. Everybody's you got to get him in a car so him and Dan can run a 5-lap grudge race after the big.
I let him run my car for that.
Yeah, there you go. But that would be neat because everybody knows about that. In fact, we were talking about that with the announcers there a couple of weeks ago about. I know it was. That's right. It was. God, it's terrible to get old. Shane, there we go. Shane Andrews, who was down to Fonda for the Hall of Fame deals there a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, he was saying that was his kind of. That's how Jim came. Of course, did Jim come in?
I know he was invited, and I didn't really get the full RSVP list, other than
okay.
the ones who've reached out to me.
Yeah.
But it'd be awesome to have him there. But I'll tell you, it's tough. I mean, AJ Romano messaged me this morning and told me he couldn't make it. He's in North Carolina.
Right.
And
yep.
He's got work to do, and there's some people that have been out for work, and so he says, "Oh, I'm behind." He goes, "I'd love to come," and it's so tough to get. In today's day and age, everything is at once. Everything happens all at the same time, and
yep,
it's definitely hard. To captivate and bring everyone together. So
yeah, no, actually, Jim, I can't remember. Oh yeah, he reached out with. I got the award there last week. He said, congratulations. He said, I haven't been up that way in a while. I know last time he was here, I think it was 2-3 years ago when he actually announced for the vintage. So they're going to be there Saturday night. So if Jim comes, I'm sure he can have a seat up there. But getting back to Brett, it's just
he's incredible. A lot of people, a lot of people have been around him, and people who know him, don't realize, he always showed up to the races, and he had guys working on the car, this, that, but nobody really understood how much effort and work and hard effort that Brett Hearn put in. And he was probably, and listening to people that have been around him and just seeing how he was. And even at the end of his career, when I built and cut bodies out for him and stuff, it was incredible on how much he took on as far as work, And, he lives down next to Pete Haraka, so he rode up with me to Alltech last year.
Okay.
And I asked him questions about the crazy questions about how he mentally prepared and how he dealt with, nervous tension and this, that. And I mean, all the stuff that I always wanted to know, the way how these guys click and stuff like that. And, he'd be working on a race, if he had a bad night at Middletown and it was a beautiful sunny day the next day, and he had a bad night, his dad would say to him, "Boy, it's going to be beautiful tomorrow. Good day to relax on the lake," or something like that. And boy, but the way you ran tonight, you might have to work a little bit.
Yeah.
And he says, I'd work in the garage, get everything done. He says, and then he goes, I'd give myself a sentence and just start polishing wheels, because guess what? You know what? And I'll tell you what, he built his career on hard work.
Yeah. And he kind of isolated himself because, there's a lot of the, CD Coble, I guess, one of the most famous. We'll get CD in a minute, but always said that we're not here to make friends. Brett did not mingle with other drivers much.
No.
And he said that's because I don't want to be friends with the guys that I got to be, and I get that.
Yeah, but I feel
that's
like
part of it.
I feel like a lot of that though is back in the day, because growing up with Maynard and everything else, there were so many more people that did this. And so everybody had their friends and had it. So it was easy. Okay, if I went to the races with 6 or 7 of my best friends and everybody was that deal, it was easier to kind of isolate. Well, then it got to the point where fans and all of a sudden oh, guess what? There's only 2 or 3 of us going to the races with a car.
Right.
It's a lot easier to, okay, this guy here ain't half bad. He's
Yep.
my biggest competition, but
Yep.
yeah, he's not bad. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And you know what? It's like back then, people still had a respect factor.
Oh, absolutely.
I can remember being a kid. And being down at Lebanon, and Maynard and Tommy Corrales are definitely the biggest personalities.
Yeah.
And you know what? They could run into each other, crash whatever happened. There was never going to be an issue.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And and they never. It's just it's different today.
But I mean, that's how dedicated Brett was, and that's why he's he was, as far as I can. Everybody tells me anyway, and I believe it. And he said, yes, we did that.
Yeah.
He was one of, if not the first guy who ever went to a wind tunnel with our cars.
Oh yeah.
He was always one step ahead and thinking about what's going on. I know Jay Castamore, who lived actually with Brett for the early, I don't know if they were still in high school or whatever, but Jay said I slept on his couch, quite a few times, and he said you'd be sleeping about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden, Brett's shaking the hell out of me. Hey! I just came up. We got to go out in the garage and see if that's what his mind was always going about racing. But yep. So the GOAT will be here, and whether or not, we have an offer of a car if he wants to jump in. That's for sure. And I said we're moving right along. Okay, and of course, this wouldn't have been the car that I would have had. I would have had the Perth Lumber, but it just doesn't. This is one of the famous Hauser cars. Guys, it almost looks like the asphalt deal, but whatever. It's got a bigger body. Is it Tobias? Yeah. Okay. That's starting to get where the bodies that we have today. The guys started getting wider and bigger and whatever. Anyway, Super CD Koval, probably one of the most famous, I guess, bad guys. I guess CD was always. I mean, love him. He was a fan favorite. You're on one side of the fence or the other. Of course, the stories. We had Ronnie on a couple of weeks ago, and back in the day when we were. I mean, you were racing then when CD was going, right? I mean, with Maynard.
When I was a kid, when my dad going to the races, sitting in the grandstands. I mean, you were either a Jack Johnson, Dave Lape, or CD fan, and I was,
that's it. You were one or the other. You weren't both.
I was a CD fan from day one.
Yep.
And you know what? I mean, I've been around a lot of people, and and after growing up a little bit, I mean, then I became close with Jack, and but I mean, yeah, if you were my age in the '80s, you're still a race fan. You know what I mean? And I feel like I just wish that we could somehow get a little bit of that to nab into the kids of today. To where it was so awesome back then, you know what I mean? And
we were, I don't know, spoiled or poor or whatever, but this is what we had. I mean, like I said, you didn't have a phone, the whole thing.
I mean, just going watching them. I mean, like I said, I can think back to when I was 10 years old. We used to sit in the front row of the covered grandstands at the on the top there, right next to the railing, and I'm telling you what, people stomping their feet and hooting and hollering, and I mean, it was.
Oh yeah, people got into it.
I try to, like I said the other night on Flow when I did the thing. I sent a video of a race to Alex Jankowski, and CD passed Jack going for 4th, and the place absolutely went crazy for a 4th place pass. And I'll tell you, if we could ever get a quarter of that back, it would be unbelievable.
Yep, that's why.
And that's what I try to strive for. And I feel like personalities. I feel the race cars have gotten fast. They've gotten everything, but sometimes it's tough to captivate that entertainment value. And these guys had it. You know what I mean? It's just how they were with people. It's just how it's a tough thing in today's society. To repeat that.
And like I say, CD always was. Trying to find the groove that nobody else was in. Usually was the high side. And of course, famous stories about him going out of every place. He went out of Albany, Saratoga, and went in the trees. He went out of the place down Lebanon Valley and drove back. But anyway, he was, like you say, more than entertaining to watch, and it'll be good to see CD back at Fonda, where he was a pace car driver for several seasons, and he's in not as good as health as he was back in the day, but he's on. He plays video games.
Oh, he's into the AI and everything
he's
else,
heavy into that. I mean, he was always ahead of the game. He was one of the first guys that I remember talking about videotaping himself. He had a guy up standing in the end of the grandstands that would tape all his races, and he said he learned more from those tapes than he ever did sitting in a race car, because he said whatever it felt like in the car, it was almost opposite of what the car was doing. He said so. He said
Well, I'll tell you, like growing up, and I mean, I've known and talked to CD now for, to this day even, and back in the day when, and you hear everybody, oh, he's on the gas. Or, I'll tell you what, he was a pretty intelligent person. He just didn't get out there and step on the gas, and it was pretty cool because he used that mystique of being a wild and crazy guy.
Yep.
But deep down, I mean, he's a pretty smart guy.
You
don't go as good as he did for being stupid.
Nope.
And I'll tell you right now, you know what I mean? And I've learned that a lot, listening to him and talking to him and ideas. And I mean, he's
the great
practically
ones
80 years old, and I mean, he's on top of AI.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yes. I mean, he's right there, and but I mean, very, very good, and it was very good. He's very good with people,
Yeah, well, I say his fans are rabid,
people,
just like
people
everybody.
loved him.
Yeah, yep.
And to this day, I could guarantee you, Saturday, if people show up for autographs, everything, there's gonna be a lot of people around him, because people. I mean, I've seen it like a few years ago. He was at Malta for an old timers, Legends Night autograph. I mean, he had longer lines than the new guys do.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So people
still remember him.
Yeah, yep. And it's also to the point too where he's the last, he's the last of that era, really. So I feel like even the Jack Johnson and Dave Late people and all that also love to see him, because he is part of that era. What I mean? And
well, like when I say we were talking to Ronnie last week, when we were growing up in the stands, you were either a CD fan or a Jack fan or whatever, and you thought that these guys were dire enemies or whatever, which is part of the mystique too, as far as that part goes. That was great. But, people know, I mean, they know now because, Ronnie has said this more than once. But he used to ride to the races with CD more than he did with his dad.
Well, that's what he said. That's what he used to say. Dad, I'm going to ride with CD to the races. And Jumper was, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was, yeah.
Yeah, they were, well, it's kind of like Jack and Bob McCready, they were really good friends off the racetrack, but they were, real battlers on it. All right, I'll go back to, see what else I got here. Whoops. Move her up one more here. Okay, there we go. That's what I want to do. All right, there it is, the doctor.
Yeah, this right here is going to be, I think, one of the coolest things about
so we got his car owners actually just texted here a while. He said, Fonda 200 was the doctor and I first raced together in a series modified in 2019.
Yep.
He said, so bringing a doctor out to race this weekend, that's fantastic.
That's awesome.
And he's won 2 races already this year.
At
Outlaw. So
listen, just when you think he's down, he's always comes back.
And I don't know about you, Tim, but I'm glad he shaved that beard. Because he looks about 20 years younger now, but he can certainly get a job as Santa Claus if he wants to next winter, if he wants to grow that again. But yeah, we're looking forward to having a doctor again. Another one of those guys who could just throw him in a race car and he'd take a 10th place car and win with it.
Yeah, I talked to him on the phone a couple last weekend after he won. I called him up the next day and congratulated him, and I told him it's going to be a draw race. I said, and if he draws in front of me, I'm going to give him a bumper. He says, "Oh, if you do that, I'm going to put you in the river." I might take him up on that. Who knows? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
just to race with these guys. I mean, everybody still gets excited about it. You know what I mean?
Yes, and thank you, Tim, for keeping him in a race car because we need as many Danny Johnsons as we can find anymore because he was always exciting. He may not have made a lot of friends from time to time, but but he won a lot of races, and he did have respect. Everybody had respect for Dan, and still do. And it was great to see that he's going to be back and in competition. I kind of wish Billy had something. But I don't think Junior's going to give him any of his rides. But it's going to be super to see the doctor back operating at Fonda Speedway. Of course, he was, one of the other guys we're going to mention here too was his owner, or put him in a car for a couple of times. One of Jake's favorite drivers was the doctor,
and he's coming here to race. I mean, it's not like he's not coming here for parade. He told me, he goes, I'm gonna run this thing. I'm like, all right, that's what I expect you to do.
And it's gonna be,
and that's it. I mean,
a lot of these guys today are the big black guys are on Hoosiers. He runs American Racers every Friday and wins with them. So it's not going to be a big stretch for them.
He'll be fine.
Yep. He'll be
absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's, and I think that's great too, that it's going to be a draw race. So that gives guys like Dan and do you know of any other guys that are coming?
Matty D's coming.
Oh, that's right.
Race.
Yep. I got him coming too.
Yep. I think Billy Jr. is going to race.
Then you have Elton. Elton's got the car for him. Yep.
Yep. So, and then working on a couple more. I'd love to see Mike Maresca come. I'd love to see Timmy Fuller. So that'd be pretty cool. If they could come out and run. So we're working on that. Right
turn
now.
the page here a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, why is Mike gonna talk Mike into showing up?
I talked to him the other day. He's gonna try. He's got Lebanon. He does all the tires.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
And stuff.
Yeah, he's spread pretty thin.
It's tough, because they added a couple more tracks.
Yep.
So he's spread pretty thin, but if he could, he said he would. But if not, whatever. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, to try to get all the champions back.
It'd be great to have him there. You know what I mean?
Yep. And of course, Jake is the one who the picture was made for. Probably the winningest driver or owner overall, maybe. I know it's kind of hard to. Well, no, because B.R. DeWitt won 90-some races or more, probably with Jack.
Yeah,
but still, Jake, you got to give Jake credit. He put his money where his mouth was, and he backed. The list is long, and all the great ones.
Oh, yeah.
And as we'd mentioned a couple of times, and we talked about it with Stewart a couple of times. I don't think Stewart ever got a win with Jake.
Oh yeah,
or he got
a bunch of them. A whole bunch of them. Man.
Not at Fonda though.
No, not at Fonda.
That's
honestly, God, I don't even think he ever raced for Jake at Fonda. So yeah,
I thought he was. That could be.
He's never. No.
Okay. All right.
We always had Parks and.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, Parks and.
Then we went right to Helmar.
Yeah. Well, before that, he had Roger Aru.
Yeah, before.
Roger was before. Before that, and I say, Parks, he's another, Tad. I know Tad will be there because he's there almost every week anyway.
Yeah. It's going to be great having Jake there. The big thing with me and Jake is, we've always, when I grew up, knowing him and stuff like that, and then I got into the bar business, and Jake was always into the bar business.
Yep.
So we've always had a lot of common grounds, and I've always got along great with him. And when I had the caboose up in Gloversville, I'd always stop over and see him. And so it's going to be pretty cool to have him there. Definitely helped a lot of people.
Yeah, but I know he's going to leave his wallet at home because he don't want to get in there.
Yeah, we're gonna try to rejuvenate him. It's like, come on, one more run.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be good to see him back there. I'm kind of missing seeing him, each and every week there. But I know, well, Ray Delmont. I don't know if Ray's coming or not, but we
Yeah,
haven't been able to get Ray to come back to Fonda since he took the helmet off.
Yeah, he's been back. I think one time when they put him in the he was back.
No,
one
he
time.
never made it.
I thought he came to Fonda.
No,
once.
because he and Jack Cottrell are good,
Yeah.
bosom buddies. And I talked to Jack that week before because Jack was still racing, I think, back at that point.
Yeah.
But anyway, and he said, yeah, he says, I think we're going to get down there. And he did not show for that night. And I've talked to Ray quite a few times. He's fixed, I don't know how many cars of mine when I have a goof. But anyway, he said he was afraid. I mean, even still now, he said, if I went back, I said, nah, I want to get back in. He said, he says, I'm just going to stay away from it. So he spends all his money on boats, but now he's been traveling down south.
A lot of people are like that with racing, and
yeah, and I get that.
And I feel they do.
I really do.
I feel they do that, but then 20 years later, I feel there's a regret of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I feel like there's been so many good guys that have raced that once they got out of racing could have helped so much for the sport.
Yes.
Where I mean it's and that's what happens. When these guys quit and get out. I mean, like. Everything needs to cycle, and like the age groups and the generations, and you get them guys that just abruptly quit and stop. I mean, it takes a beating on the next generation.
Yep. That's why, of course, obviously he's not going to be there, but that's what was so great about Dave Lape. He had kind of
100%
walked away, but then he got involved with the auto museum, and he was down there every Saturday, and he was kind of like Ray that he didn't want to watch the races so much, but he said, Ed, I'm living the life. He said, I love this. He said, I come down here at 3 o'clock, 3:30, whatever. I stay till 6:30. When the races start, I go home. I'm sitting on my lounger watching on TV. He said, it's perfect like that.
Yeah, I mean,
he loved to be involved, but
he really collected.
He wanted to stay
really collected on the glory years after. This is
what
I did, you know what I mean? I
Yep.
mean, Rennie Charland was like that for a while. He did that for many years. He worked on museum parts and did this and did that. He always kind of stuck around and stayed involved. And then other people that we just lost.
Yeah,
quick.
well, I mean, everybody's different. This guy we talked about for a little while ago, Matty D. Matty went so far as to promote the races at Fonda when he.
Oh yeah.
Wanted to keep on going, and he's still racing. He's cut back now, once a week, and he's the best car every week over at Albany Saratoga for the last couple of years. Friday night was a freak. That's the first I've seen him not pass more than 2 cars, but everybody has that night. But yeah, Matt certainly, and I believe he's racing.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. That's gonna be.
And
that's gonna
don't
be cool too.
Don't count him out because he said he gives most of his credit to brother Mike. Mike is a smart guy, and the two of them are just great people. Their father, and the whole family, and it's going to be great to see Matty D back at. I keep saying, "Hey, you're going to come say, well, this is I think about the last year for his girls in baseball." So maybe, of course, he's getting older as well. But
the big thing about this 75th anniversary, which a lot of people don't understand, is, like it's a nostalgia thing, but it's also a current thing. So, like, you take Stu for instance. So we got 75 years at Fonda. The last 15 has been Stuart Friesen.
Yeah,
he's got just as big a chunk of Fonda history as anybody from the 50s to 60s, absolutely, same thing with Bobby Varon and, and all that. I mean, there's so many people like.
Yeah, actually, I was going to actually, did you reach out to Bobby?
Yes, he's coming. Yep.
Great.
Yep. So, I mean, Bobby Varon was another one, I was around before, he just started racing and.
Somehow, Bobby gets forgotten, I guess, maybe because, I don't know, he wasn't a big, media guy or good out there, but when Jack and
Oh, yeah.
Lou and all those guys. He was the guy.
Oh yeah.
He was the Stuart Friesian for those 6-8 years in there. I don't know, but he won 3 championships or whatever.
Yeah.
A couple with Jake and
three
whatever.
or four.
He's still what, fourth, fifth in the well, Stu moved up now, so I don't. And overall wins that Fonda. So it'll be great to see Bobby back. Obviously, his car owner is out the other way, so I don't imagine they'll probably run that car. But who knows?
You never know.
You never know. I mean, he's got his car, but he said he just doesn't have. He's got a good business going. He doesn't have time to
Exactly.
do that exactly. But yes, it'll be great. Good. I'm glad to hear that because a couple of people had asked me, and I said, well, I think so. I hope so. I mean, he's still living in the area, and now his son Dan. I don't. He's been missing the last 2 weeks. I don't know what the deal is there, but
Well, he's got sprint cars and.
yeah, but he has a race sprint car this year, so I don't
he's
know what Dan's
he's putting
doing.
up a new shop, a new
Is that-
house.
Yes.
Yep. So
Oh yeah.
I guess he's
That'll
got,
do it.
You know,
Yep. I'm sure we'll see more of him, but looking forward to seeing the Di Lorenzos back at Fonda as well. And of course, this is one of your. I don't know, one of your favorite, but
oh, yeah.
Jimmy Horton. Everybody loves Jimmy Horton.
Yep.
This is not the car that you did, but
No, I did one of the older. They were the
No,
statewide cars that I did.
yeah, now you
But
did
this
that
was-
for Jim and his father, or
No,
you
I
do that
did-
for Stateway?
No,
First-
I did that. I did that. Chris Larson owned the
Oh,
car.
okay, yep.
So they wanted to redo it, so
Mhm.
we redid it, and it made her look like new.
And I understand Jimmy has a car.
Oh yeah, but he hasn't been racing. He's been ever since Art passed away from Art's radio.
Right, he's been full out.
He took that over,
Yep.
and
Yeah. I see him. He got a free ad night before last at the Dream. They did a tech segment on thermostat that
Yep.
he's built. That the late model guys are. I mean, everybody's using it. So they're not standing still at Arts. And Jimmy's a craftsman.
And I tell you, a lot of people don't, like the younger guys don't realize. I mean, what he accomplished
Oh yeah.
in his career.
Yeah, he kind of got a little overshadowed with Brett because they were kind of the same deal.
But a lot of wins.
And Brett
winning as
and
driver
Billy. Yep.
at Bridgeport, at
Yep.
East Windsor. Not only that, but he's won at Talladega. He's won at
Mhm.
Daytona. He's won at Charlotte.
Yep.
I mean, when Darrell Waltrip got hurt with the Tide car back in the late '80s, early '90s, was
Mhm.
it? He got the nod to take the ride, and he was his replacement. So yeah, he's definitely accomplished everything. His resume is pretty good.
Yep. And he not only won at Talladega, he also went out of the park at Talladega. I guess
Oh,
he's
yeah.
probably more famous.
I
It
think-
seems like most people.
To this day, he has one USAC race and one USAC win. I mean, he's done quite a bit.
Yeah,
Definitely
and
good.
it's just a great guy.
Oh yeah,
I talked to him at Oswego this year, and because he and Bright Bill and a couple of the other guys, they were out. I know they had some past winners, I guess, of why they were there, or whatever. And I asked him, I said, Jimmy, you miss it? And he said, yeah. He said, I really do. He said, but I don't have time with the business and stuff to do it anymore. He said, if I could find somebody to want to do the work, he said, I miss it big time. He said, as far as racing goes, he really does. And he must be what? Well, he's Brett's age and Billy's age, so he's getting up there. But I think Cozy's about the only one in that age group that's still
still going.
Week
I
to week.
actually talked to him yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a bird. Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He had some. He was doing some partying down at the EMPA convention this past winter. I heard the stories. I didn't hear him in the halls, but, but yeah, the old guys can still do it. Now, I just want to put this is what you sent to, and again, I don't know, how many do you, well, I'm sure you do. How many did you send out?
Oh boy, I don't know, but it was a lot of them. I mean, it was, so we went through a list of, past Fonda drivers. Then we went through a list of past Fonda invaders. Then we went through a list of track officials, promoters, then car owners, then then media people and all sorts of of everything and everything. Where it's so tough because the list is so long. You know what
Yeah,
I
I didn't
mean?
know if you
And
had a credit. They had to have a championship or they won a feature
no,
or whatever.
I mean there's a lot. I mean there's so many
There's a lot of
people.
guys
You know
a
what
lot
I
of
mean?
guys that never won a feature at Fonda, but are still
Like
a part of the Fonda history.
some like Jay Castamore will be there. I mean he's there with
Anyway,
Stu,
yep.
but he's there. And Jim Hillier's coming.
Great.
From the
Yeah,
Ralph
haven't
era.
seen Jim in a while.
Yep. And then a bunch of people, Marty and Hertha are coming. I think Bobby Watson is coming, the flagger.
How about you, Jeff? Jeff Carter, you coming?
It'd be nice to have him there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Jeff. I remember, Bobby started racing out with Max out of Dave's old shop on 5S. I remember at the tire shop.
Yep.
What the hell was that? Martin Luke? No. What the heck was that? It's a two-name tire shop there.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's been there forever.
Husband and wife there. Yeah. Yeah, it's still a tire shop. I went by there the other day, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yep, Bobby did. Yeah, and there's some stories of the early days with Bobby and Max and everybody doing what they had to do to make it work. And he used to, well, the big thing about Bobby, I don't want to get stuck on him, but he made a living out of buying used tires from Jack Johnson and whatever. Bilo, no, it wasn't Bilo, was it? Well, Jeff, you would know because you're from out that way, but I thought it was, damn it, it seems like it was Mars something. God, it was anyway. Jeff, so you're coming or not? That's what we're asking. Yes, Mr. Carter, are you coming? Yes. See, so everybody wants to know, Jeff. Now you put your finger in it now. So hopefully, because Jeff, obviously, well, you would know. I mean, Jeff probably. I don't know if you knew Jeff back in the day or not, but he was a huge part of Champ Car.
I mean, I definitely known him since I was a kid, even going go-kart racing and stuff. Oh yeah, I've known him for a while.
Yep.
You don't realize it, but you start seeing these people like, oh my God, I know this person for 30, 40 years now.
Yep. Now Jeff, he's been at Fonda a couple. They came for the Hall of Fame things. Well, he got in the Hall of Fame last year, 2 years ago. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I mean, you just like you said, the names pop up. I remember. All right, Jeff's not saying whether he's coming. I know he's involved with the race team on Saturday over at Devil's Bowl. So, yep, there he is. Booked up with a young rookie. Yeah, he's, I don't know. He's still working with Audette over there. Gardner Stone's grandson. Jeff has been working. Of course, Jeff's got his own business now.
Yep, he's been busy doing transmission.
Eyeball Engineering.
Oh, yeah.
And another guy that, people just don't realize how smart
Oh, yeah.
Jeff is with all this stuff.
I mean, the biggest thing is the dedication. You know what I mean? I feel like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, Jeff, he started, I don't want to get on him neither, but he's, Grace, you must have been in high school, if that, when he started with Leapy. And, yeah, we spent a few nights chasing a few beers at Fonda. I mean, all that old deal, guys used to stay and turn the lights out and all that stuff. And, we were lucky enough to live all through that. Now, I was going to ask you, Eric, was Maynard the first guy you actually worked for?
Honestly, so how it works out is I live on I grew up on Rydell Road, and I grew up right across the street from the Constantinos. My mom and Dave's father's sister Joanne, were like best friends in school, whatever, and whatever. And as we grew older, so as when Dave and Chip were born, and they got old enough, my mom would start. Georgie went back to work. My mom would start, she babysit them, before and after school and stuff like that, and that's how it started, So I mean, I've known. So when Chip was 4 months old, when my mom started watching him, so she watched him, when Georgie went back to work, and Mom was home with the three of us at the time. So, so then I got around the racing and seeing the racing, and then I got I got my dad. We all wanted to go because they went, and so we started going racing. And then when we got a little bit older, then I could start going to the pits. I mean, the first few years, I went in the pits. I went in there. I went with John.
So the Constantinos have always been a neighbor
Oh yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, now
That was kind of the joke. Everybody lived up over that road that they could hear Maynard running the dyno.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times the local police came or whatever because of the noise.
When I was there, he used to come in, and I'll tell you, I was there one night, and Lazaro was there, and he was doing a motor for Louis.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the cop walked in. Maynard looked at it and said, "Isn't it your turn to get the coffee?"
Yeah.
and he says, "Oh, damn, shit, yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Lazaro, how do you take your coffee?"
Right.
And he went and got coffees and brought it back, and then it's like Maynard's like, I think you ought to give Louis the ticket for this one.
Right. Yeah.
And Louis like, "Yeah, write me up the ticket."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I say. That's it. Yeah. All this, there's, we can go on and on. I'm sure. Well, thanks, Tim, for that. I didn't realize that's the first that where Tim Fuller got his name or his number. Tim Gibson said he sold Tim his dirt modified in '89.
Yeah.
And he kept the number 19.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Thanks, Tim. And thanks again for keeping the wheels turning here for these guys. Yeah, Fuller's another one who you never know. He may show up.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I don't know if he contacted one way or the other, but Tim had a great year last year. He won quite a few races, and he's lucky with it. And Maresca would be, because Mike has been, doing Fridays and traveling some of the series races, and his dad, of course, loves Fonda Speedway.
Oh, yeah.
And he rented the VIP tower for several seasons. And of course, Mike is a past champion. People might forget it was 1 year, but he was.
Yeah, Doc Maresca has been very good for the sport.
For everything,
Very good. Good. He's an awesome guy.
Yes, yeah. If you've never met him, I mean, you wouldn't know that he's well-to-do. But he's very nice. I know when my wife first was diagnosed with cancer, we were talking in a trailer one night when Mike was running here. Well, he says, here's some names. He said, if you need any anything else, he said, we kind of do some of that. So he said, if you want to, and we never did, but he offered, and of course I know Stu has said without him he probably would still be in Canada there or whatever. Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah,
important at doing that. Now, who else did he help? Just lately here got hurt. They had mentioned him. I don't think it was that kid that got hurt in Bridgeport. Maybe it was the one from out west.
It might be.
But anyway, they had mentioned that Mike or Dr. Maresca had lined them up with certain people at Syracuse yeah. No, great guy, great family. Yeah, it'd be great to see if Mike could come back as a past champion. It'd be great to see him race.
Oh yeah, Mike's a great kid.
And he would definitely be competitive. Like I say, with his draw race, get Dan and Mike on the front row. Stu may have to work a little bit. It'd be interesting to see. Yeah, it's going to be a great night. I hope everybody's that's listening, and glad to see there's a bunch of you here with the comments and stuff. Jeff, we'll let you ride, being as you got a job on Saturday. But let's see what else we got here. But yeah, and it's turned out. Well, Heather did mention earlier too that the 50/50 is already up to 1,100, and they'll just add that.
Perfect.
Add that right into the 50/50. And now, did I just think I read that or whatever? But how many laps is the feature going to be?
I think it's just 30 lapper.
Is it? I thought that they added a.
No.
Okay.
No,
but the pay is going to.
Yeah,
he upped the purse.
Up in the pay. I think it's $3,075 to win.
Yep.
And it's I want $775 for 10th. and so he put some money in it. So
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to keep it a regular show because
Okay,
you
yep.
start doing stuff. The big thing is we want to get a lot of people back that haven't been there in a while, and maybe get a taste of it again. Even after tonight, it'd be nice to see them a few more times, and
Right.
you know what I mean. So we got vintage there, everything, and
Yeah, it's going to be.
we want to be able to like talk to some of these people. We're gonna have drivers are we're gonna have some guys up in the announcers booth, talking and during the race and that kind of stuff, and just a little bit. I didn't want to be where we have a 7-hour show. You know what I mean? So
That's the problem.
and so me and Brett talk. I'm
Right.
like, well,
Yeah.
you could have a 75 lapper for this,
Mhm,
whatever. But at the end of the day, we want the people to enjoy it and get the most out of it. And
Right. It's a huge meet and greet
Yeah.
early on. Before we forget, the picture that you're looking at now is that's your current owner.
yep, that's Pete Leclerc.
Okay.
A few years back.
Pete used to race, right?
Oh yeah, he
Yes.
raced Lebanon Valley for years with
Yep.
the 320s, and then
Yep.
his son raced, and they were, he got cars from us, and in the end of 22, he says, Gerard he relocated with his job, and he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, well, Pete, you know what? I'll run the thing. I'll try it. See what happens.
Mhm.
And we ran crate. We started a crate over at Malta. That's what his son ran.
Yep.
And I think the fourth time back out, after being out of a car for 10 years,
Mhm.
I won, and then I had another win later down in the season, and then we went to Eastern States, had a top 3 going, top 2 anyway, and had a flat late in the race, so, yeah, I mean, and then the next year I acquired a 358, and we went over there to Malta, and we ran against the big blocks with the 358.
Yep.
And, it was all right. I won some heat races and stuff like that, but I mean, got beat up pretty good with the motor. And then last year we got a weekend warrior, went to Fonda, and it's been a huge learning curve.
So you've been happy with that, the Weekend Warrior, though?
I'm totally happy with the
Yeah.
motor.
I know
what mean?
that Stu and Matt Shepard both love them.
I'm just wishing
They
that
think that's what Brett should say. That's it. That's all you can have.
my biggest thing is really since 2005, I haven't raced regularly
Mhm.
until 23.
Right.
And boy, I wish I had what's from 5, yeah, I wish I had 13, 14 years of because back then I was going through the growing pains, and things
Yep.
were starting to going good, and I won a bunch of races over at Malta back in
Yep.
the early 2000s,
And it really just, and I'm not making this up, I don't think. It was really just a financial thing, right? It just,
well, yeah. So what happened was I got.
And I mean, you got busy with DKM and all your business.
The big thing
you were doing
is I got into the caboose,
the,
the
yep,
bar,
the bar and all that
and
stuff.
it's like, all right, and then next thing you know, the caboose was so busy
Yep.
that there's no way I could race.
Mhm.
And,
Yep.
and you know what? It was at that point. It was, what.
Money talks. Nobody
well,
walks.
exactly,
Do it.
you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
I mean,
Responsibilities
everybody wants to
and-
do what they.
You know what I mean? And
Yep.
yeah, it sucked. Not racing. And I'd race 3 or 4. I'd run Chippy's car, and Dave had a car, a Black 7. I'd go a couple times, to just stay in it and this that. But it's tough if you can't do it all the time or weekly. You just can't show up here and there. And so, but I did it just to say I did it, and then I got a couple years later. Then I started Shorty's. I had Shorty's, the restaurant. So I had the restaurant, the caboose, and I ended up selling both of them, and and both of them were really running good when I sold them,
And both of them went the other way, and now it looks like Shorty's coming
yeah,
back.
Shorty's coming. He's
Good-
doing a
good-
great
good-
job
yep.
with it and stuff. It's different times too.
Oh yeah, yes.
It's like the bar. I mean, I used to. By the time I got everybody out, I mean, even when I started racing, I mean, I'd be out till 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning. By the time the bars got closed and
Yep.
cleaned up, and I mean now, 12 o'clock is the new 4.
Right.
12 o'clock is the new 4 a.m.
There you go.
know?
But lights are out at 9 o'clock at most every place.
Yeah,
It's
so
crazy,
you know what I mean.
but,
So then
yeah.
after I sold them, then I started. So right before I sold I sold the caboose first, and right before I sold Shorty's, I started going racing with Stu.
Yep.
And it was Malta's opening night when they went back to dirt when Howie took it. That was the first race I helped them. we were gonna go over and watch, and I called him. I'm like, "Hey, you got a set of tires?" Yeah. I go, "Okay, well, I'll come and help you." All right. So I went up there and scaled the car, and I went out that night with him, and the first night I ever went with him.
So did you
he
know
won.
him? Know him before that?
A little bit, through
But-
Jess, because Jess worked for me, and I've known Jess since a kid anyway,
Okay.
But
Okay.
when I had the
Okay.
bars and
Yep.
stuff like that,
Yep.
she'd bartend at block parties and
Yep.
all that. So, yeah, so I mean,
Oh, okay.
I knew him, but didn't know him like I definitely do now.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? I mean, after all these years,
Oh,
we
okay.
went through
Yep.
everything together. As far
Yep.
as all that.
Yeah, and
goes.
I say, you got you a Hall of Fame crew
Oh,
chief for
absolutely.
that. And
Yeah.
there's still, I saw a couple of weeks ago when your birthday came up there. At Jess put up a nice thing.
Oh, yeah.
You and Parker. I mean, the P Man and you have been.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
you knew him since day one.
We've gone at it since day one.
Yeah.
But
yeah, really.
Yeah, I
close-knit
mean,
group
me
there.
and Stu, the biggest thing is, we really hit it off good because we have like the same heart for it. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
it was crazy. People would come over and we'd be superstitious, so we'd go. I mean, it's not not like, oh, we can't wear green, but
Mhm.
we'd go to the races thinking, okay, hopefully we can qualify, and then afterwards, we'd win by a half a track, and you go home with that like more than satisfied feeling, and it was. Yeah, it was so good. A lot of so many good times. There was times that we went racing and it rained out, and I'm like, I'll never forget. We're at Weed Sport, and they had triple 20s at Fonda.
Mhm.
Soul put them on, and we got done. I think we won or we finished second there, and everybody's standing around there, and Stu goes, he cracks a beer, and I go, hey, there's only 120 lapper down at Fonda. I said, let's get out of here and go. And it's like, all right. So we were contacting the Katas, telling them we're coming and everything.
Yeah.
So we got there. We got unloaded. We changed the gear and put the tires on. He got out there for the last 20 lapper, and we lost by half a car length with no yellows. Started dead last, And it was pretty cool because it was pretty cool because when we were pulling in the racetrack, everybody was hooting and hollering. It was,
Yep.
it was pretty cool. And then one night we blew the motor in the Parks car, the small block. So he's in the infield. We moved the toolbox. We shut the trailer up. He brought the thing over, and me, him, Ansel, and Lauren, we went up. We drove up. The big block was in the shop, Tad's big block, and the body. So we put the floor pan on, and we put two Zeus buttons in the body. It had the gears already in it, so we got the body on. So me, Lauren, and Ansel, we were in the trailer. We were putting the body on as Stu was driving back to Fonda. Stu's in his fire suit, the only one in the pickup truck. me, Ansel, and Lauren are in the back of the trailer. We're going all around the bends on 30A, and it's like, oh, we're in Glen and everything else. And so we called Dave, and I said, Dave, get the rear tires off of the small block car and the rear shocks. So we pull in, and I remember Ray, and they opened the back door, like, hey, we all jumped out of the trailer. Then we put the rear shocks, the tires on, and started dead last and won that race. That was one of the coolest races, and just the heart and the feeling of it. I mean, you just can't take anything away from that.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, just before you came in, the same thing as what you had said. We're in the middle of a next generation of Fonda history. We got, Stu's over 100 now. Kenny Gates is 100. And that's, that's two of the classes. And it's, a lot of people say, it's not like you. Well, it's different. There's no doubt about that.
It's a lot different.
It's different.
Know what I mean? And, it's just, how things are nowadays and everything, I mean.
With all the guys you've worked with and, been around all this, I don't know anybody who's been able to put their finger on it about what that extra thing that Stewart has at Fonda. I mean, literally, everybody in the pits knows that if he's probably running at the end, they're going to be behind him. It just seems like he can turn a notch up. Well, even like the last race we ran there, kind of hang around 8th, 7th, 6th for 15 laps, and all of a sudden it's like turn the key and nope, just pull out and drive by everybody.
Well, my
Yeah.
opinion is, I mean, I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
And you know what? It's he. You know, as things go, I mean, he didn't have the most easiest road to get to where he's been. And when he first started, and it was a lot of, you know, living in a camper at Matson's, or you know, trying to go in here and trying to. This guy's got a car for him, and it's, you know, it's kind of a mess, and you have to put it together. You know, I mean, that kind of thing. You know, so he really worked hard, even when he started in Sportsman. I mean, he just wasn't handed everything. I mean, he had to work for it, and you know, you build that heart and determination, and you know, just keep on building it and building it, and you know what? You're not gonna beat heart.
I think last year proved all of that. I'm old, not as, they're way older than you are, and I've seen the great ones have an accident like he had, and like a boxer or whatever, it lost a step. It just, you know, it's not, you know, they still win the races, but
Oh, yeah.
but I saw the first race down in Florida this year, and at Alltech, I believe it was, I think, and I said, nope, that didn't affect him, whatever, because when he decided that I'm not going to lose this race,
I'll tell
he's
you,
going
you
to throw it.
when-
I said, okay, Stu's back, and the same as he didn't. You know, I was literally in my back of my mind said, you know, he's not going to be like he was.
I'll
But
tell you.
it's
I'll
it's
tell you
amazing.
what,
It's amazing.
From when we went to the hospital and he had the first big operation, and we went down there that night, and then, you know, a week later or so, when, you know, when he came home, you know, I mean, when we brought him in the house, I mean, it was like, you ever break a glass and you're trying to pick up the pieces, and you know, you don't want to get cut. I mean, he was so beat up and broken and everything. And I'll tell you what, I said to myself that, you know what, I doubt he'll ever race again.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you know, and I've told people, I go, you know, I hope I'm wrong, but you know, the people close to me who would ask,
Right,
you know,
right.
and I'm like, boy, I don't think he'll ever race again.
No.
And about 3 weeks later, I said, well, you know what? I'm glad I was wrong, because my feeling is he's going to get back in this thing, and he's going to get back in this thing, and he's never going to miss a step. And then we went down. I went with him, so he went for his first practice in January this year,
Yep.
down in North Carolina. So I went down with him and everything, because, you know, just with Parker at school and everything.
Yep.
So I said, you know what, let me go. I'll go with him, and I'm there, you know, whatever to help, whatever he needs. And you know, he got in it, and he, you know, at first he was nervous and this, that, and you know, he got in it, and you know, all the times of me being there, you know, and with him and Tommy, you know,
Yep.
you know, you want to talk about Stu, you know, Stu could be in the third heat, and the second heat race could have 3 laps in it, and he'll get in the car and get out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where most of us, you know, we need time just to get ready. And you know, it took him a long time getting in, feeling the steering wheel, everything. He went out there and did about a half a lap and stood on it. Came in, he was good to go.
Yep. Well, Tommy told him he's basically the same thing. I talked to him right after that. I don't know where it was, but anyway, Tommy said, "Yep." He said almost word for word. He said,
You know,
he was afraid that I get it right. Because it's the one that he messed up most. The leg was his gas pedal leg, right?
Yep.
And he said, Stu told him when he got in it, he said, "I'm afraid that this leg is not going to do what I'm telling it to do." But he said after one lap, he said, "I'm good."
Yeah, so he come in. I said, it was like the second set. I said, you know, if you're running in right up against the wall and then cut across the track, I think you might.
Right.
He went out. I mean, it was Now, exactly.
Yeah. And it's a great chemistry thing there too that you've been through.
Yeah.
You know, and
And I'll tell you, you're really
here you're a guy, and you know nothing. You know, you're a great fabricator, a a great crew chief and everything else. But you hadn't won a lot of races. Obviously, didn't race a lot like some guys your age. But here you're telling a guy who's one in a lifetime talent how to set up the race car and how you guys can work back and forth and how
Well,
you can help him be better. Where
Well, the biggest thing is we're kind of like the same,
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you got a group of people and hey, if somebody here has a better idea,
Right.
say it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, you know what? Years ago, I was running Sportsman, and I won a few races
Mhm.
at Malta. So I stopped down to Jack's Ronnie's,
Mhm.
the speed shop there, and Jack he goes, Eric, what do you got on that for bars? And I told him everything,
Mhm. Yep.
And you know what? I was like, why? I'm like, he goes, you're going really good,
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, Jack John, when I went to Dirt Week, the first time I ever raced at Dirt Week with the big block in '03, it was back when it was, Maynard's old stuff,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Yep.
Jack goes, Eric, come here. I walk over. He says, listen. He says, this is what you're going to do when you get out there. You got to get comfortable, whatever, because if you go out there and you do something stupid, you're coming back in a bushel basket with the car.
Mm.
And
Yep.
you know what I mean? And he took me under his wing, so you know what? If Jack Johnson can ask and listen and want to know what everybody and anything does, or
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the most stupidest idea is the smartest one.
Right. Yeah.
And I truly believe that,
Yeah.
and that's like I'll help or whatever, but like Stu tells me a ton, I'll ask him about stuff, and
Mhm.
I mean, it's really good, he's
And I know, well, we're right up to current history here now that we're not done talking about that, the 75th or just yet, but I noticed Friday night, one of your cars and drivers that has pretty much been in a class by himself in that class, Tim Hartman, has been struggling this year at Malta, which hasn't happened in the last 6, 7, 8 years or whatever. And I've seen it, you've seen it. The best of the best, they have a year or whatever. And you were trying to help Tim out on Friday. And Tim has actually, worked with you guys through DKM. He's had classes and
oh yeah.
so I mean, you guys are close and all that stuff. But I guess there's no explanation to how that happens.
I mean, the biggest thing is,
I mean, the track has changed. I get it, but
I mean,
for everybody else, the Crane boys, they got it figured out right now.
oh yeah.
But Timmy's trying, and I know his dad real good, and they just kind of, what the hell is going on here?
He'll be all right.
I'm yeah.
He'll be all right. I mean,
Yep.
he still has 2 seconds this year. He's
Right.
second.
He's
second in points or third in points.
Third
not
points.
too far.
Oh yeah,
out.
no.
No,
But I mean, when you're used to, like Lebanon Valley.
Yeah. Well, Lebanon Valley, yeah.
It's-
I mean, let's get back to Lebanon Valley.
Right.
I mean, I think he's won
Yeah.
4 of them this year already out of 5.
But I mean, you've been through
yeah.
that with Maynard. You've been through. I don't know if Stu's ever had it. Well, a couple years ago, and Tommy said that was more motors than it was anything. A motor program. So you got to have today. You got to have everything in
of
line. And I don't think.
I mean, like Matt Shepard. I mean, he's going through
Yep.
a rough streak. And like sometimes things can go wrong, and then next time,
Yeah. Well, that's what Matt was saying
nothing
about
can
this
go
year.
right. You know what I mean? That's you could be out front. Oh man, I finally leading, and all of a sudden, blow a motor or flat tire. Trust me, it can go just as quickly bad as it can good. That's for sure.
Yep.
But no,
But
he'll be fine. I mean.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's done stuff for the past few years that kind of different than what everybody else does as far as the setups,
Yep.
and now it's just a different track, so but he'll be fine.
Yep.
Not,
Now
not a worry in my mind about that.
Oh no, I'm not worried. But I say it's just we were talking about how things can, even for the best of the best.
Oh yeah,
It happens.
Yeah.
You just. Well, it's like Shepard said. I caught an interview with him there last week, sometime or other. He says, he said by the clock we're about the same as we were last year. He said, I think the problem is everybody else has gotten better, and for whatever reason, I mean, if you win 30 races a year, you kind of figured you got it figured out, I guess, and then you get in a hole.
See, this is where I could get into a 5-hour conversation about this, and this is what I truly believe. I'm going to put this all on. I feel like we need to take these cars. It's not taking a step backwards. I think we need to unhook them, everything, and put it back into the drivers.
Right. Oh,
So,
yeah.
and not only that, but make it where it's a little bit more comfortable. It's a little bit more easier. Because back in the day, I mean, all these good guys that are coming this weekend had very, very, very good careers in their 50s and stuff.
Yes.
Well, the way these race cars are going, the speeds are going, and how they move around, everything. You know what? I feel like the longevity of a race car driver isn't going to be as long as it used to be. So we start losing like a lot of these guys in their mid 50s, or early 50s, mid 50s, and all these 21-year-old. It's going to be tougher to build superstars, and I feel like NASCAR, all that stuff has gone to stand. Like I feel like in today's NASCAR right now, that Dale Jr. and Harvick and all these guys should be the most dominant, people of, Carl Edwards. I mean, the guy did backflips out of race cars. Why is he retired?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And,
there was something weird there somewhere.
And I know, like, for them, the money aspect of it, but the fact of the matter is, it's just not the money. It's they're weighing out, how their life is going to end up compared to the money.
Yeah.
But same thing with the modifieds. I feel like the younger generation, I feel like we've been in a box. I feel like a lot of the finesse is gone, where you got to lift and and I what.
Well, me as an old guy, and I've said it a couple times. People say,
and I understand. I understand.
You have 10-year-old guys that are winning. Well, the Trout Show kids won 13 races this year already. So that just tells me, yes, the kid's talented, but he started when he was younger. I get that.
I'll tell you what, when I was 10 years old...
But the cars are so easy to drive now.
When I was 10 years old, adults didn't even want to deal with kids.
Right.
It's like, this is our night. You guys go in the stands.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, that's how I feel. I feel like for the entertainment value, I feel like, and it's not taking a step back. It's just reducing on what's, because I'll tell you, the speeds are you could say, lap times, whatever, but you know what? It's a lot faster. Go watch a videotape from 1995 and watch a videotape from today. These cars are 10 times faster.
Yeah.
And
you build them, so
exactly.
The cars are made to go faster.
Exactly. but I feel like, the entertainment value. They've gotten so fast, and
you got a second between the whole field in every division. So how are you going to pass somebody that's almost a second as quick anywhere?
So back in the day, if you went to Fonda and Jack Leap and CD started 17th, 18th, and 19th, okay, then they would be 13th, 14th, and 15th. Then they'd be 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then they'd be 1, 2, 3 battling for the lead.
Yep.
Where today, I feel like if you get, like, over Malta, for say you get Ronnie Johnson, Peter Britton, and Mark Johnson in a 14th, 15th, and 16th, the guy who's running 12th runs, they battle each other. They can't get up through the field.
Yep.
And that's a lot of, and a lot of it is,
side to side.
and a lot of it is because the cars are just so hooked up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
So 2 years ago, when I ran the small block at Malta, heat race, when I could keep my foot in it, I was better. But when I had to lift with the big gear and everything, and it used to be the opposite way.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, now I don't have the wheel speed, everything. These guys are just coasting through and driving off. It's like, wow, the bigger motors with the less gear have 10 times the advantage because, they're built to turn and everything else. Back then, with a big motor, you had to lift.
Yep.
And, they've lightened the blocks and these big blocks and everything. It used to be good when the big block was very, hard to handle and,
Yep. Well, they're still the hardest to handle of the bunch because
but I'll tell you right now, when you can have a motor today and win Malta, and then go down to Lebanon Valley and sit on a pole with Mr. Dirt, and even go to Syracuse back in the motor that we ran. The last few races at Syracuse, we could go to Malta and win with it. And back in the day, them guys had the big Pontiacs, and if you ever brought a big Pontiac to Fonda or something like that, you'd be shooting yourself in the foot. You know what I mean?
Yep. So I talked to several guys about coming to this that don't have big small blocks.
Yeah.
They have big blocks.
Yeah.
And they said, we're not coming with a big black to Fonda right now because we can't beat those guys. I mean, I don't care what you put Stu in, big block, small block, and in between block, he's still going to win.
Yeah.
But the majority of guys, you need the the small, big small blocks, and now they're talking 480. How the hell do you make a small block 480? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the biggest,
but that's true.
well, the biggest thing is, I feel like the modified racing years ago had a lot more bigger learning curve, and it took and now with these Alex Jankowski and Alex Payne and these young kids. I mean, I'm telling you what, the learning curve is a straight arrow to right where Alex won the Eastern States 200. Me and Stu were up in the stands watching.
Yep.
And right after it was done, Stu looked at me and said, "Boy, that looked, he made that look easy." I said, "Yeah. I mean, when you were 21, 22, where were we at Eastern States?" Yeah. No, you would. Yeah. You know what I mean? Brad Hearn was like the rarest of the rare back when he was younger. Right. You know what I mean? But
yep.
And I mean, that's what made him the best ever.
Yep.
And it's.
So you like to go back to the rods then?
I would like. I'd like to go. My opinion, and I could whatever. I can be shot down for this. I want right side Panhard bars. I want long rods, less droop. I want the cars to be on top of the racetrack. I want. So like a few weeks back, they had Action Track, and it was pretty wet and it was rough, whatever. But you know what? I feel like if you could slow the cars down and make the track fast, I feel like the entertainment value is there 10 times better.
Well, most people thought
like Malta on Friday night, I thought that as a racer for the feature, I mean, it was excellent racing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, whatever, but it's excellent racing with fast cars. I feel like, and don't get me wrong, slowing these cars down isn't going to make them look slow. No. And you know what? I feel like if they slid more and they bounced more, what I mean? I feel like that they were flatter. I feel like it'd make the racing. I feel like people would get involved in it better.
Yep.
No different than watching an old cup race or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean Matt Shepard said here. I've had Matt on quite a bit, and he's always the last couple of years since they went to the new style. I mean, he's adapted obviously very well, but he said that's his whole deal. That he said, Ed, I'm not saying you're bad, but he said you could get in one of these cars, and I'm not saying you're going to win a feature, but you'll be competitive.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how
like
easy they are to drive.
When I came back in Sportsman, I feel like there's no way that I should have won my fourth time back out. Yep. You know what I mean? And like you said, these cars are, and the biggest thing is they gotta take the tracks, they gotta make them hard, because the cars, they don't form a cushion anymore. When these left side Panhard bar cars, all they do is they divots, and and you make the track hard, like Malta for instance, and whatever, and you put a little moisture in, and it's so hard, of course it's going to make dust. And that's why these cars, I feel like if they could take the traction out of the cars, soften them up to where they've formed the old cushion of the old. I mean, remember the old after Malta? It looked like somebody went and slip formed a curb all the way around the top.
Yep.
And
well, that's what I've been talking with I think I mentioned last week or whatever. But even talk with the racers that are running over there. That I've been watching races there for a long time, and it used to be everybody's pretty much on the bottom, maybe the middle, in the heat races. This year, the heat races come out, and everybody's on the top. Everybody's on the top. If you're going to go past cars, in the heat races, the first race on the track, I said, "Whoa, this is that's backwards."
Another thing too, I feel like some of these tracks. I mean, again, I'll probably be the bad guy for saying this, but I feel like some of these tracks need to be reconfigured. And what I mean by that is, I watched old videos of Malta back in the day. Malta.
Well, actually, Lyle did that 4 or 5 years ago.
And I feel like the walls on the inside of Malta need to come out. So between 3 and 4, you need to narrow the racetrack up, because what's happening is these racetracks are so many groove wide now, especially Fonda. So we talk about the backstretch restarts, and I watch videos of Fonda in the back, back when they had the backstretch restarts, the backstretch was 4 lanes narrower than it is now.
And
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I feel like if you narrowed the track up, the racing will be just as good because everybody will be on the part that you can race on.
Yep.
Where now you got guys that are hooked on the bottom. You got a long span between the middle to the top.
Yes.
And
Especially-
I feel like if the corners were a little bit more defined, again, you'd have to lift a little bit. You know what I mean? I feel like it's like I feel like the backstretch of Fonda needs to be straighter, and then you need to cut into 3 and 4, and that kind of used to be like a little straightaway. I felt like guys could really mount different moves and
Yeah.
everything. I feel like it's too
Well, when
symmetrical.
they put that road in for the septic
Yeah.
for Village of Fonda, that changed the whole game because now you literally had blacktop back there. Now
It's
keep
it's-
throwing
now
dirt. It's kind
now
of
it's
working
kind of
out.
spinning over. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like I was looking at we were watching old races at Malta, and I remember one time I bounced off a guy off the inside barrier. It was my rookie year. And I bounced off a guy and I went right into him, like off the inside Jersey barrier. I hit him,
Yep.
and the guy went. I hit him and it shoved him right into the wall because the exit was so much narrower.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like the track cleaned up excellent because it was a lot. You could still go 2, 3 wide,
Yep.
but it wasn't 6 wide.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And there's so much area. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like some of that needs to be changed a little bit.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
most like the older good guys, when Shepard and
I mean, guys used to lift at the flagger at Fonda, and now you don't.
They-
There's laps that you don't lift at all.
yeah. Well,
And that's
especially
with a big motor.
especially Stu. That's what everybody says. They cannot follow him into one.
I'll tell you what.
They just
you know,
can't follow him into one.
Anybody who ever appreciates how he gets around Fonda,
Yep.
they ought to be in a modified behind him.
Yeah.
Because he goes by you, and it looks like he's so stable and neat, and next thing you know, you don't see him.
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go here, just want to reiterate. Now, we hit so far the ones that you put up on Fonda's site as far as any other drivers that we missed.
So the biggest thing is, which a lot of people we haven't, all the current. So we were inviting all the current track champions and stuff. We're gonna have them. We want them there too this weekend. So everybody get there. At 3:30, and it's gonna be.
No, I understand you're gonna put the autographs.
We're gonna do
right
it
up
we're
by the
gonna
front
do it-
gate?
No, we're gonna do it right under the grandstands.
Okay.
So you'll walk because it's.
Oh,
supposed to-
okay, yes.
So the grandstands all nice and clean. They put all tables and tablecloths in there.
Perfect.
And that's where we'll have it, and then we'll spill out maybe onto the front stretch a little bit through the open doors. And,
Okay. Yep.
It's gonna be a good time, and like I said,
Get some big fans because
a lot of
can
current
get
people
warm in
come
here.
on out. It's gonna
Yeah.
be $10. For $10, you'll be there all day. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's gonna be really good. And if he made a deal too, where if you have your pass from last week and use that, if you want to use it,
Yep.
he'll give you a $5 food credit, and
Yep.
or even afterwards, he'll give you a $5. He'll honor that pass for after too.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get everybody
there's
there.
a-
We want to get everybody there early, and so it's a very good night. And love to see some of the older people come down. With
Yeah.
with the old racing jackets, and
Yep.
I mean I know there's a lot of Dave Lape coats and everything in the closet,
Mhm.
or shirts and everything else, and it'd be awesome to see that again.
Yeah, I mean, well, when we were kids, well, certainly when I was a kid,
Absolutely.
everybody had there was that one era, maybe it was a couple years where there was a lady in Scotia that made these like fuzzy
yeah.
jackets. You had a Pete Corey, you had Pete Corey's jackets, you had Bill Wimble jackets, and everybody had a jacket. And all. And actually, they had, well, I guess they kind of got some of that as far as now, like Ronnie's up with his trailer and the grandstands, but there used to be fan clubs
Oh yeah.
with little tables set up every week, and everybody,
Yep.
and like you said, we've gotten away from that because
Yeah, it's-
the attention span today is not what it used to be. I guess
No.
we get tired out.
And the big thing is, I mean, this is the 75th anniversary, and
Yep.
you know what, I'll be lucky to make the 100th.
Oh yeah.
If that.
Well, I'm not.
But you know what I mean. So
Yes. No.
for most people, it's like, come on, and I'd love to see, the biggest thing is I'd love to see some of these people come back, that haven't been there. I'd love to have them come one last time.
Yep.
I mean, and I know, Ed. I mean, Fonda's like been the life for a lot of people for a lot of years.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of people that haven't been there, but can sit there and tell you, you know what? For the greater part of my life, that was like church.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And,
No. Yeah.
And
Yep.
and that's where I feel like, you know, we really need to make the best out of this.
Yeah. Well, I say I'm glad that Brett decided to, do some. Well, like you say, I kind of like the idea, like you said, not that it's a huge show where it's going to be,
No, just I want an
People from all
appreciation
over.
show. I want,
Yep.
you know, be nice to hear some stories.
Somebody did ask me to, and I said, well, I don't know what the point system is at Canandaigua and all this stuff, or whether with. I'm sure you invited him, Matt Shepard. Whether Matt will come, if he's running for points, he's not
Yeah.
that far at Canandaigua or not, but he won the 200, so he's won some big races, and he's been the only one to give Stu any heartache at Fonda and some of the big races lately. But I know you just never know who's going to show up.
It's 2026. You know, at the end of the day, sometimes it's just hard to get everyone together.
Yeah.
But
well, even my show, I mean, now it's easier because we can do it on the phone or you can come here or whatever. But it used to be I talked to the guy on Saturday night, Friday nights or whatever. Okay, can you be? Well, now it's, I'm not sure. I got to do that. Well, we got to, it takes so much time. I mean, the guys that are, winning, like we were talking about,
it's just
dedication, like Brett, they're in the garage a lot.
Oh, yeah.
They're just not, and I appreciate you taking time because I know there's a lot of other things you could be doing.
Well, I had the
making money.
I had the Batmobile. I had the Batmobile running.
Okay.
Just before I got here. So
Okay.
I tried to talk. I texted Stu and said, you got to run this thing in the Mystique class. So Stu's like, all right, I'm in. So no, but I went and got the Batmobile yesterday because Gary's coming up too. So he'll be here for the weekend.
Okay.
He won the series race. He came in one time, won the series race with the 73, and he's looking forward to it.
Cool.
And he's looking forward to just seeing some of the older people.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? You get older in life. When you're younger, it's like it's just like, oh, okay, well, yeah, okay, whatever, no big deal, no big deal.
Yep.
And then you get to the point in your life, and you're like, oh man, I gotta make every minute count here. And luckily for me, I've kind of always been that way, even earlier. And to have this, come out even for the people of, the people who've honored Jack Johnson and Dave Lape. And, it's like, like Maynard. I always tell everybody, I wish he was around to see what we've had and what we've done, and
Yes.
when I was a kid and. We used to go up to Maynard's and he had everything, and it was like, wow, this place, and you know what? I lived my whole life a lot up in there,
right?
And to wish he was around, like, I mean, just to pull, I could just see him like pulling in our big shop, like with the car and get, this is where, and it'd be so awesome that if he was still around. To see what we've done.
Well, he gave you the name for your company, so
exactly. We've honored, but that's a respect factor. I mean, that's
well, so the Cyclone chassis and all that stuff. It's all, it's deeply rooted, and a lot of people don't realize what's going on.
And he did a lot more for us than just racing. It's like we grew up with parents that worked, and it's like, okay, we got to pay the bills, and a night out to dinner wasn't Rain Dancer or whatever. It was McDonald's or Pizza Chef.
Yeah.
And, so
now your employees are going to Rain Dancer for lunch.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what I mean? So what he's helped, the way we grew up, and basically, I feel like we grew up to where we had so much ambition that and goals and everything, and I think that's huge to where we are today.
Oh yeah, that's good,
and that's why, and I honor that and respect that, and I mean, I might be even a little bit more than a lot of people about it, but
but
I know that it's important.
What you and Dave and everybody have done,
Oh yeah.
Now especially the model cars, you just keep expanding out in different ways. But
then Rocco's racing, and you start,
Yeah,
last
that
week,
kid's
you
going
know,
to be a good racer.
yep. Oh yeah. Last week, this last week we lost Dave's uncle Keith, who, when we started, he would come and work the CNC machine, and
Yep.
so yeah, people have come, and like what, you just got to make everything good because you never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle
Well-
Busch, he
Oh,
said
yeah,
it.
that-
He said it a week before. Anything can happen.
And yeah, he says you had to
Anything
relish
can
every.
happen, and
yeah.
you know what?
Hmm.
Damn right.
Well, and to that point too, and I was going to ask you about that before, but you had a pretty good crash yourself here at Fonda, and it's kind of a testament to your fabrication skills and stuff. And actually, your car, you had done a few little different things than
Yeah.
you were selling, but you've had guys come and say, "Hey, I want that."
Yeah. I
And,
mean, well, you know what?
you
The
know,
biggest thing
safety is
something.
something that gets.
And I'll tell you what, I'm a little bit against the grain with some of the safety stuff, and everything else, and I have my reasons, and I think my reasons are good.
Yep.
It's like, what, after the Earnhardt thing, and okay, everybody's gonna wear a Hans device, and
Mhm.
you know what? If you slam into a wall at 100 miles an hour, it can help. But I also feel like I can't get my belts tight.
Yep.
And I have this other thing, and the hybrid, and it feels like this thing pivots. I feel like I can't get my belts tight. And I've said it, so you know what? I don't wear nothing. And everybody thinks I'm crazy, I'm nuts. Well, I'll tell you what, I have my belt super tight. I hit that tire probably, at 85, 90 miles an hour.
Yeah.
At a dead stop, I went up, I did 2 flips in the air, came down
Yep.
so hard it broke the rear end in half. Okay?
Yep.
And you know what? I didn't have a belt burn. I didn't have a mark, a bruise, a ache, or pain in any of that.
Yeah. Well, I know this.
The only thing that happened was the wind got knocked out of me, but that was going probably in a different direction.
Well, I know the sprint car guys. David Gravel's been kind of on this, and there's nobody better right now than he.
I have cushion in the bottom of my seat.
He says that he was almost identically what you're talking about. He says we've got ourselves in this cocoon, and we cannot move. Our bodies can't move when we're there, so it's solid impact. He said, I think these new, because sprint cars, I don't know if there's anybody in our realm that use those, but they have what? Kind of like self-tightening, they ratchet down and
all sorts of...
he says, I think we're putting ourselves in more jeopardy.
Like, I tighten my belt so tight that when I unhook the belts, I'm like a bag of insulation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I feel like you need to be tight.
Right.
You know what I mean? And and I, like I said, it's one of them deals where people think I'm nuts or crazy, but I feel like a lot of it is, I don't know, just I'm not gonna.
Yeah, sometimes
I'm not gonna say like money driven or this that. If I was in an Indy car or something, of course I'd have all that stuff on. Because, whatever. But you know what? When you're tumbling and everything out, impact into head on into a concrete wall or tumbling down. And I'll tell you what. And it seems like in today's day that even the slow wrecks can hurt just as bad as the fast ones.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what his whole deal was, that he thought that, we're going with NASCAR stuff. He says these cars aren't NASCAR cars.
No.
He said those, like you said, are straight on, whatever. He says, our stuff is totally different, and I'm sure there's going to be some smarter people than me, but somebody work on figuring this all out, and hopefully they will someday. But
well, at the end of the day, no matter what you do,
more
anything
crippled.
can happen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
I mean, we've seen more, and like you just said, cars are faster,
Yeah.
and all this stuff. We've seen some pretty nasty events. Well, even NASCAR, they had a couple of bad. Seabell.
I know
That was that was not good.
no.
I don't know if he'll. Well, I still think that's part of the deal going on with Brian.
Well, the end of the day,
Mhm.
you catch up to the laws of physics.
Yeah, right.
So I mean,
yes.
I'm telling you right now, you watch some of these sprint cars go around, Volusia. You watch them go around, Knoxville or Eldora. I mean, one of these days, I mean, something, I'm not, whatever, but
No,
you hit something and you come to a stop going that fast.
Mhm.
I don't care what safety you got.
No. No.
You know what I mean? How many times can a human body, handle stopping at 150, 160 at a dead stop? You never know.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you can't take anything for granted. And I feel like a lot of times too that in today's day with the younger kids, and the younger kids are, to tell you the truth, a lot of them are very good. They're very courteous, whatever. But
Yep.
You still have to respect these things because they can bite no matter what.
Yeah.
And I feel too that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like too, like the NASCAR thing is they've gotten so on the safety with softball that basically it's like, all right, guys, here's everything. Back in the day, if Cale Yarborough was out there, and Bobby Allison, he wasn't just gonna spin them because who the hell knows what could happen.
Yep.
So you kind of had it,
So now that's what I'm saying. There's
Exactly.
a different mindset for these young kids now.
And
We're safe, so we can do anything we want. We can run into this guy.
I don't care. Like Fonda, you got to respect things. You got to respect every.
Yep.
It's like I tell the younger guys, hey, listen, you got to pay attention, but you got to pay attention to their yellow even more and
Right.
everything else because a lot of crazy things can happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, must be you promised the Perrys you were going to take them out to eat.
Yes, I'm gonna have to get going here. What time is it?
It's late.
Oh,
9. Yes.
we gotta.
Yeah, we did. Yes.
I have to
Yeah.
get going.
Yes, you do. I'm gonna call Luke, and I don't know. He's probably in bed now, but we're gonna finish up with him. We'll see if he's still around. If not, but we're good. No, thanks so much for. Like I say, I know you had a ton of things that you could be, especially this week,
Oh yeah,
getting everything ready for. So you're gonna have the Batmobile down at Fonda.
Yeah.
Okay, and Gary will be there.
A good thing today. We were at an on-site auction. We got a gigantic bleacher section for the Sunflower 50 this year. So
Bigger than last year.
oh my god, this thing is crazy. So yeah, so we're psyched about that.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Well, I got to get Johnny to come down with that because he's
Yeah.
he's the one that's
And Brett's coming. I hold that over his head because I do the Middletown trophies. I said,
Okay.
"You're coming to the Fonda 75th," and I said, "I need you at the Sunflower 50 to race."
Well, I got a big kick out of was it last year or the first year, 2 years ago
Yeah,
when
2 years ago.
when he I forgot he blew a chain or whatever on it, but he tire, he blew in, so he drove in the infield and he sat there for a minute and all of a sudden he started to get up and I said, "You're getting old, Brett," because it took him a while to stand up after.
And I'll tell you what, that's what I feel like that's what our spirit is all about. The way
Right.
we do. I mean, to get Brett Hearn, on a go kart and
Yep.
do all that. So we do a lot of good things,
Oh, absolutely!
A lot of
This
great-
sunflower thing is just
Exactly.
exploded.
So
It's just
with
amazing.
the Fonda thing and the sunflower thing, and it's just it's crazy.
Yep, it just keeps getting bigger
And you know what?
bigger.
It just makes things a lot more fun through the years, and you don't want it to stop really.
And I see Reimer won again this Saturday.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So he's
Now, does he run one of your cars or no?
No.
Okay.
No, but he comes up and runs the Sunflower 50.
Yeah. Great kid. He's
Oh yeah,
really
there's gonna be more
talented.
people this year. A few more drivers. And,
Yeah, well, as it's years go on here, people say, "What? That's a go kart race." I said, "Yeah, but you got it." And now everybody's, "That's a go kart. We got to go."
Yeah, but it's not.
good.
It's not a racing go.
No, it's just
it's a
a
go
fun
kart
day.
race. It's where you take go kart racing, 1980s attitude,
Right.
70s, 80s attitude of racing, and
Yep.
it's the spirit of it is. It's like that feeling we had when we were young, and it, like I said, I mean,
Yeah,
if there was a way that I could instill that to these kids and young people at
Yeah.
the racetracks like today, and even the older people. I mean, there's so many older people out there that are like hesitant against it, and like you said, I mean, I
Yep.
feel like, all right, what are you doing home? Get
Mhm.
down here.
Yep.
Stop it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it is
Yep.
so easy now to just take Flow or whatever and
Oh, yeah.
stay home and drink your own beer and
Yep.
eat your own food. But that's not, a lot of older guys said, no, it's not the same. And it isn't. And like I say, hopefully a night like this Saturday night where you get
Yep.
people that come out that
Yeah.
hadn't been in a while, or even young kids that haven't been. I mean, that freebie night, basically, you want to call it the dollar night. That's the crowds that used to be there every week.
Oh yeah.
And so if only half or a quarter of those people come back at least a couple
And
times. This
you
year
know
and
we
make
know
a
it's
difference.
tough. You know it's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah.
It's tough all around. You know I mean it's tough for the racetracks to do business. I mean,
Yep.
you know it's like if you run late, you know you can't tell electric company, you know, sorry buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all that has crept up so
Yeah.
much, and you know.
Well, like Brett even made a little humorous jab at himself there last or Saturday after Saturday. He says, "Well, you can blame that on me." He said, "I just spent $1,000 extra on diesel to run these trucks around, and we missed out." So, you know, 99. Well, I think all the promoters. I don't care who it is. They love the sport as much as we do, and they do their best.
We got to fight through, and then we got to figure out what we need to do to make it healthy. And you know, I feel like if we could simplify it a little bit more, I think people would enjoy it. You know what I mean? To where, you know, like I said, you know, we're just many more years of technology and trying things, and now you can just buy it. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's a new way. I mean, it's been like that, but now, you know, it's the new way, and you know, so there's so much more. You know, I don't know.
Well, it's like the Batmobile. I mean, that totally changed. You know, everything.
Perfect example is the Sunflower 50.
Yeah.
As far as go-kart races go, there's no more. You got 10 times the people that go to any other go-kart race. We had 60 guys in our class, and you know what? It's a big backward step from what real go-kart racing is today. So you know what? I sometimes, you know, and you can say I'm wrong and crazy and nuts and whatever. Hey, listen, I'm right there with the new technology too, and I'm saying to myself, I feel like it's going the wrong way. You know, simplify it, make it fun.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, Fonda, and you take, you know, Lebanon Valley, everything. At the end of the day, it's entry level racing, and I feel like it's gotten to a point where it's more than that, you know. And I know back in the day, a lot of guys did it for, you know, most of their income and everything, but a lot of guys used to have a lot of other things to do too, and you know, where, you know, I feel like it needs to take a step back. And I feel like the
well, it's like we were talking the other day. I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe 2. There was what? If you had 10 4-cylinders, you had a lot. Last week, or founded the last race, there was 26. Everybody says, "What the hell's going on?" I said, "That's because that is the only thing the people want to race can afford."
Well,
that's a lot. I mean,
I know, and I feel
stocks and, you know,
I
whatever.
feel like there should be a cheaper version of a built homemade street stock. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I also feel,
well, Nick has started. I don't know, Nick Stone.
But I also feel that in my day, you know, and I tell you what, we grew up with nothing. You know what I mean? As far as, you know, so to where we are today is, you know, no one handed it to us, and I feel like, you know what, some people are made out for racing, some people are made out for watching racing,
right?
And I feel like making it too easy sometimes. Where back in the day, if you got a race car to the racetrack, that was an accomplishment,
right? Yes.
And today,
well, you were proud of it, actually.
Yeah, today, you know what? Anybody can do it,
right?
You know what I mean? And that's and you know what? And that's beat it up some. It, you know, it might not right in the open, but deep down, yeah, maybe. So, all right.
Well, great. Yes, go feed. Go feed Robert. He won't. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yes. Yes. Saturday is going to be a big day. Weatherman's we're on the schedule of 1 week and then on and off, on and off. This is the on week. It's not going to rain. It's going to be a great day, and get to see all of your old heroes for your old timers and the young folks, and see what deal gets her. Yep. Here, is this yours?
No, I got one here.
Okay.
I'll see you later. Thank you.
All right. Good night, Eric.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're like on borrowed time here, but I see a lot of you hanging in there. Maybe you're waiting for Luke. We'll see if Luke is still with us. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Let's see here. Try that. I'll just give him a call and see. Maybe I'll get him off the couch. Maybe not. We'll see. Tell him I was getting even.
Hello?
Hey, are you still awake?
I'm awake.
Okay, it doesn't sound it. No. Sorry about that, but I don't know if you've been listening, but Eric, Eric and I were just going on here reminiscing about the old times and the old days or whatever. But we're talking to Luke, excuse me, Luke Horning, on a roll here, 3 in a row, and looking like we was trying to make it 4 on Saturday, but Mother Nature said no. But anyway, congratulations on that. And let's back up. I'll ask you the same question that I asked you in the trailer on Saturday. Well, what the hell happened? I mean, you've been winning races for quite a few years now, and the beginning of this year just hasn't been very good, to say it. And now all of a sudden, boom, 3 in a row.
Yeah, I was just trying some different things that I thought was the right stuff. Then when I realized I don't know what I'm doing, Shane came over and fixed it. So now we're back on the course.
So I did notice, just by looking at some of the pictures here from this last couple of weeks, for a while there you were pretty much almost on 2 wheels most of the way around the track, and I see now that the left front is pretty close to the ground again now. Is that part of the?
Well, it's a lot easier to drive when you can.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Yes, Pat Ward always said that, because he used to carry the left front for years, and he said, "Yeah, I was fast, but it's so much better to have all 4 wheels on you."
So much more controlled. I like the. I keep, I tell Shane I don't really feel the right rear, and then, I start adjusting to what I think I have to do, and sometimes I stumble upon things and it starts to go okay, but it's kind of like a fluke, and but the way he has it now, it's pretty good. Sometimes I don't feel 100% comfortable in there, but the speed is there, so I think it's something that I need to more adjust to myself, because the car is pretty good.
Yes, it looks like things have come. So it wasn't, motor issues or anything like that. You got plenty of, well, all the 602s has got supposedly the same deal, but it wasn't a motor issue. It was more the setup then.
Yeah, it was definitely the setup. I was thinking it might have been a motor issue.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was going to be. Mark Sullivan came over, did plugs and valve springs, and went through the carburetor and everything, just because I couldn't get going. And after that didn't work, and I asked Shane if he could maybe come over and just run through Actually, he sent me a message like, "Hey, you get the car washed on Monday or on Sunday. I can come over during the week and I'll, take it apart, put it back together. Maybe we can find something." And that's what we did. I got tires all ready for him and everything. We got everything that he wanted us to have done, and he came over later that week and did his thing. We put it back on the scales. He was pretty happy with it, and we've adjusted very little from there at Fonda. We won that night at Utica.
Yeah.
And at Fonda, he messaged me and asked me what I was thinking. I told him what I was thinking. He pretty much seen the same thing on the flow that I was feeling. He had some changes that he thought that I should change, and we talked about it, and I did both the changes that he wanted, and that's what we're on now.
So, bottom line is you're listening to him now.
Yeah, I should have be a lot better off. We'll see. The car's good. We'll see when we got past some cars. I'm not naive. I know we've been starting well too,
Right. That car looks great this year, though. I mean, the scheme is a little bit different. Now, is that I'm trying to get from these pictures that I was getting? Is that a Ford Mustang grill on that thing, supposedly?
Yeah, I think the noses are pretty much the same. I'm not sure. Maybe the cameras are a little bit different, but that's just what Shane's always been a Ford guy. And,
okay.
That's he talked us into doing a Mustang. We did a Cadillac nose with a Mustang tail lights, and then after Kevin passed away, we couldn't really get our custom stickers, so we just do the 5-star stickers.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Ford's the way it goes.
Yep. But no, I say Sharpler is different from the past, and maybe you haven't been winning as many races, but the body panels look pretty good, so that's a good thing.
We're racing a little bit less, and
yeah,
there's been a couple bad nights at Utica for some guys.
Yeah.
the night again, Ivan got him some damage, and Ivan had a tough week after that. But pretty much, Utica's pretty clean. There's not really there's not much damage there. So we haven't got the damage from our Friday night home, and then Fonda's been good, and Glennard's has always been good to us with a little bit tighter track. You get a little bit of damage, a little bit of rubber. So we've been avoiding that pretty well.
Yeah. So, so that's what you said. You backed off on Glenridge, which you've won many championships up there, but it's just a cost thing. The tire wear is a little extreme.
Yeah, the tire wear is a little bit frustrating. I don't think it's anything. It's kind of just it is what it is.
Right.
But it's other things too. Like I've raced 3 nights a week for a long time, and it's
yeah.
Sometimes it's just okay to take a break. We'll be back, but eventually going 3 nights a week. We do mess it up there. But it's just, we get a little bit more done. I'm able to work a little bit more on, Sundays. It's a little bit easier to get going on Monday when the car is already washed, and I don't have to, we're a day ahead. And,
right.
With one car right now until Shane gets our other car done, it's tough to put 3 nights. I mean, it's probably tough to put, by the time we get halfway through the season, we got, twice as many races on the car as, a guy that's running 1 night a week.
Right.
And if we're running 3 nights a week, now we got, even that many more.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm telling you anything, but majority of your guys in the pro stocks only run 1 night a week, but the large majority. So
yeah, and they're good too. You're not
yes, yeah.
So you're already, you're racing against the best guys, and you're going stuff that's kind of wore out. So we're trying to keep stuff a little bit fresher. That's a part of it. And once we get the other car done, or once Shane gets the other car done, we'll bench out a little bit more. So that would be good.
So you're not. It's already passed it, or no? You did. Yeah, you aren't running the series in this year at all.
No, we're not. We're gonna do the stuff in the States and
in the States. Yep.
We just haven't got to Canada. We planned on going. It just didn't work out, and with the forecast and stuff, it just didn't work out for us. We still got 2 nights at Mohawk. We gotta get to Airborne a couple times. There's still plenty of travel, and you gotta get to Malta once. I gotta get back up to Glennard sometime. So we'll run plenty of races. We just haven't done too much right now.
Okay, and I can't make it out here. It's not me, but it's where I transferred the picture. But I got a picture of you passing Slater here, and he's got a big Hornings on the back. Is that you, or is that somebody else?
No, that's his business. He's my cousin.
Oh, that's okay.
He took over his grandfather's business.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. All right. I was wondering. I said, it was kind of a nice shot here. You're passing a card. It's got your name on it.
Yeah,
so
that's probably why it's a little blurry. They're probably focusing on me and they're really trying to focus on both cars.
Yeah. But he's had a great start to the season too.
He's going great. He's been going great last year. He kicked our butt up on the hill, and he's already got a win this year at Utica.
Yep.
He's quite a little driver.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's a Shane car too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the PlayFab cars are really rolling well. There's a couple up north that are just getting going, but Chucky Dumbluski's already got 2 wins this year. Brett came out the first time this year, top 5, first night out. And Ivan's been fast since the day he got that car.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just all the guys are ridiculously quick.
Yeah, no, I talked to Chucky. After his first win there, just a couple weeks ago, and he came right back, almost back to back here at Malta. Yeah. But he said Ed, it's just night and day. Of course, I mean, I give credit. The other car was just old. I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years old. But that's the good thing about the pro stocks. You can be competitive with the older cars. But he said that this was so much easier to drive, and he's been good every week over at Albany.
Yeah, he's been good. He was super fast the night he came to Utica too. Just got some misfortune.
Yep. So no, everything's all great in Playford land here. It's just
he built a hell of a car.
Oh yeah. Well, you kind of knew that. You nudged him into leaving a good job and see if he can't make a living building race cars.
I think sometimes he regrets it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Someday he can look back and be happy to be doing what he's doing.
Oh yeah. Well, I say he's and I don't even know where this picture came. Well, I know it came off of your website, but I'm not sure where it is. But you eating a big bag of popcorn or a box of popcorn. So that's So
That sounds
in
about
case
right.
in case people want to know what you guys look like without your helmet on, I try to find some. Anyhow, excuse me. So cutting back a little, and now it seems like it's starting to come, and it makes sense. You're not the only one. I mean, the cost of everything. I know I've talked to some
Yeah.
good friends of mine who traveled out to Utica on a weekly basis, and just for fuel and tolls, it's $100 round trip.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
our truck's not that great on fuel. By the time we fill up every week before we leave for Utica, it's about $200 between the generator and the truck,
wow.
and 5 gallons for the car.
Yep.
But that's going that gets us to Utica and back home, and then found to the following that
Oh, you still
Saturday.
have enough. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then we fill up again, Friday on the way. That's all the truck used for us hauling the car. It's not really like I'm very fortunate. The situation, I don't really have the financial things. Doesn't really hold us back to whatever we want to do. It's more of the
Oh, good.
just needing to get some things, caught up around,
Sure.
trying to get the house, the business stuff, tires laying around need to be unmounted, organized for the guys that come in on Monday, and
Yep.
you race on Sunday. Not that Leonard does a good job getting us home, that's for sure. We get home plenty early enough, but it's still, you still got to shower, you still got to get ready for work, and then you got to plan your day. And now the day's already planned on Sunday. We're all ready to roll on Monday.
Well, I mean, not that I have to make you feel good about it, but the idea that Sunday's off, we were excuse me, talking to Stewie the other, not last week, this week, whatever, and said something about, 2 weeks ago, he did not go to the race at Utica, I believe.
Yeah.
And I said, so what's up with that? Now, here's a guy that, races for a living, has basically an open pocketbook. He says he's at his stage, and he's not bragging, but he said, I'm at the stage where I want to spend Sundays maybe by the pond with Parker and Jess.
Yeah.
And kind of sounds like the same with you. I mean, you got, home life and homework is important too.
Just the extra days, just give really.
You're right.
Yep.
That's what he said. I'm not working. I'm not racing on Sundays. Well, he probably will a couple times here, but
yeah, of course. Once we get another car together, we'll venture up on the hill more. Get a couple of rainouts when we can get up there, but it's just puts us a little bit farther ahead. Like today we're already rolling. I mean, today would have been wash day and trying to get the tires started to get the car in the garage. We already got all that stuff done.
Yep. Well, I did. So how much better you are? You're noted for running the high side and sometimes not making that third and fourth turn down Utica like everybody else.
I don't mind if I hit the inside wall or the outside wall.
So I had a picture of you passing cars on the top, and also now this one, you're like 3 deep, almost 4 here. This is at Utica, I'm assuming. Yes, it is. And you're on the bottom. So it's the new you here can race wherever you want to go.
Well, yeah, that's the Utica is a place where the top is typically. You really slow down and run the bottom, or you can, when there's bite up top, Utica's really fun to be around the top, and just happened to be.
Yep.
Friday was, the bottom was the place to be, and found it the week before. I'd like to feel like we can slow down, capable of running the bottom if we have to. I do like running the top, and that's
Yeah.
It's, as long as everything's going good, it's fun to do. But when it's the bottom's the best place, that's where that's where we'll be.
Yeah. So you. Well, certainly now you're liking the track prep at Utica. I know guys have said it's different this year. This year again from what it was last year.
I mean, I like it, slick. I'd like it to, sometimes it wasn't really raceable slick. I mean, it's there's slick where you still make the car work, you still go forward, and then there's slick where you just can't pass.
Right.
You need something out there to be able to get cars to work, or if it's just ice top to bottom, the cars don't really really get going. There's nothing for a better driver to get a hold of. Everybody just not moving. But I kind of miss old Utica. Well, I really miss old Utica where the tires were in the infield a little bit farther. They have moved them down a little bit. They're not down enough, and I see they got a couple buried. So I'm assuming that's the way it's going to be. For the foreseeable future, it's not. It should be down. They should be another 3-4 foot in to give us the the room where the top can be really good, and then you have to the bottom's so much shorter around. You can slow down and run around there. You go in slick, but
Okay, yeah, you're not you're not the first one that I've talked to that is raced the Utica this year. Said the same thing that it seems like they had moved the tires. You said, well, they moved them back down towards
they're moving. They're moving. I mean, they were ridiculously far out onto the surface before, and then they've creeped down.
Did they say any reason why they were doing that?
Yeah, I mean, they have their reasons.
Okay.
They're right or wrong, it's their reasons. It's their track. They can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And as racers, we're just going to tell them what they're doing wrong.
Right, yes, yeah.
But they're not. I mean, Utica has always been. When Utica's slow and wide, it's been one of the best tracks ever in New York State. As long as it's very raceable, and those are the kind of days a lot of the people that were there for miss the the bite in the middle or the bite up top, or really slowing down around the bottom. And when the track's that narrow, it makes it tough for the bottom to be competitive with the top because you're losing so much momentum on the bottom.
Okay. Yep.
So you're not cutting off enough of the track because the bottom's not really the bottom. The bottom's 15 foot off the bottom.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I don't go a lot to Utica, but over the years I've been there quite a few times. But it used to be you could get one hell of a run on the bottom coming off in two, and I don't see that happening quite as much.
Yeah, it was better, this week, but it was pretty bitey down there. I don't know if the weather during the week made it like that, or they got like I said, they got the tires buried. It's better. It's better than it was at the beginning of the year, that's for sure. It's, they got us another half a groove, but we're not there. They're not there yet. But like I said, they're they got the tires buried, which is better than the tires sticking out like a big old powdered donut.
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
They still need to maybe leave the tires that are buried there and get rid of the other tires that are just hanging out. That we can try to run down a little bit. And
right.
I don't understand using tires to block off the track. If it's dusty and nasty down there and the rest of the track is raceable, you're not going to be down there running in the dust.
No, I've always wondered that myself, and I don't race, but I know the tires have always been the curse of most race car drivers. The buried ones maybe aren't quite so bad. Maybe
they don't destroy the car.
Right. Yeah.
They don't destroy the car.
Yep.
The other tires, it seems like a little bit unnecessary, but they've been there for years, and I guess probably 90% of tracks that's what they do. So. Yep.
Well, I guess it's the most economical and the only way to, and that's why we were talking to Eric Mack here earlier, and he's thought that Malta ought to take off the inside rails, and that would make for better racing there, so you wouldn't bounce back into traffic.
It was. They tried that years ago.
I know.
And the problem was you just dove to the infield. It was so muddy that you just slid out across the track. And
right.
If you had any problem, you went down there.
Yep.
And it made the bottom so dominant that the top wasn't competitive there. So I think the walls over there, I mean, maybe in the modifieds it's better not to have them. I don't know. But in the pro stocks, it's definitely made it for better racing to have the walls there.
Mm-hmm.
You had to slow down and run against it. And, I've beat that wall plenty of times and, tore up a lot of left fronts on that inside wall.
Yep.
And I think having that inside wall there, so I think you should start earlier. That way you're not running into it as you're entering the corner.
Gotcha.
But then, but you also don't want to point sitting there as you're, going down the straightaway either. So.
Yeah. It is hard. It really is. There's
no.
I always thought that Fulton had the right idea over the years, just having a big lip dropped off, but over the years as they chewed it down, that's gone, and now they got tires too, pretty much. It's
still pretty wide there, though.
Oh yeah.
Quite a bit. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, you still get to run around those tires, but it's just a different deal over there, I guess.
And it seems like I ask you this every time I get you on the show, but this year, I mean, you're not the only class. Every class is down anywhere from 2 to 5 to 6 cars or whatever. And now Utica's been fairly steady. They were anywhere 13 to 16 or something. I think everybody agrees that this day and age, 16 would be a nice number to keep week in and week out.
Yeah, I think 16. I mean, I don't. The cars are there. When they have big races, they show up. We had, I think 47.
Yeah,
for
well,
that
yeah.
Dirt Series race at Utica. So the
Yep.
cars are there. Obviously, those are a lot of Canadians coming down. They can't do that every week.
Right.
I think 12 is a little light. I'd like to see it around 16 or whatever, or even a consistent 14 or 15. I don't really know where the cars are going.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Where you think? I know I asked.
Yeah,
I asked.
It's so easy not to. It's so easy not to race, though. You can do any. It's just technology's made it so you can sit home and do whatever you want to do. I can watch any racing from home.
Oh, yeah.
You can do anything, and then if you're somebody that's worried about the cost of it, it's really easy not to race. And,
Yeah, I guess because I asked Nick Stone about it, and he says I don't. No, he says I think it's a lot of guys, like we were just talking about earlier, not like you, but are racing just one night a week. So you got several guys that used to travel and ran at least 2 nights a week that are only down to one now. So that whatever that Saturday.
It's hard. A lot of people struggle to find somebody. I've been fortunate. I've had somebody, for a long time that's always been, right there to help me. I've never really had to do it on my own. I've been very fortunate.
Okay.
Fortunate now to have a couple guys that are good a couple days a week, or if we need more, they're there for more. And we do go out to dinner together, we cook together, we do a lot of stuff together.
Okay, so you do have around about 2 guys. You said that.
Yeah. I have 2 guys. I have Zach and Pat that help out. During the week, do whatever. And Becky's there when
Right.
when I am alone. If I need somebody, she's around. And,
Yep.
her daughter Abby helps us out, and we, there's a couple people trickle through. Tucker, still comes around, and Uncle Rick when we need them, and I got plenty of people to lean on if I need it, and and 2 guys, and during the week.
Yeah, and I didn't realize. Well, I did when you said that, but I didn't realize because I was going through the pictures here from last couple of weeks in Victory Lane, and yeah, pretty much everybody you just mentioned was in that one night. I didn't realize you had that. That was. Yeah, you don't see that in Victory Lane much anymore. Nobody's got a lot of help.
Even at Fonda, Mark shows up. He comes and helps us at Fonda. So you get a couple guys that come to the, they'll help out just at the track because they got work obligation and kids and sports and stuff like that. But no, I've been very fortunate.
Yep, and the like I say, the car looks great. I mean, we were talking with Eric about ways that they could slow down the modifieds. And make the racing a little better, whatever. But I think that's why the pro stocks always week in, week out put on the best show. Because I mean, your cars are a little bit slower, but and of course you got fenders right out to the wheels, so once in a while you get getting in a tangle, but you guys can race hard and race side by side and beat guys up a little bit. More than without causing a lot of serious damage, so that's a big plus too. but anyhow, well, I said I'm sorry it was so late here. I had some other stuff.
Ice cream's the biggest forgiveness. I mean, just some extra ice cream, and nobody cares what time you call.
All right, yeah. Well, we're getting ready. I was looking back and I said, it seems like we call you every year at Oswego, that's for sure, because you guys run.
I've seen that in the text message.
You're right. You guys run great out there, and always. Well, you said you were on the spot reporter for last year for us because you were out there the whole week, so that was pretty cool.
I enjoyed out there. That's really my only vacation this year. We're gonna try to do a little bit more as far as vacation. It's tough once the snow comes. I got too many people that rely on me for the snow, so we're gonna try to. My uncle lives in Florida, hasn't made it up this year, so we're gonna try to get down there.
Oh, cool!
Instead, so they don't have us on the schedule at Charlotte, so that gives us, from the time Oswego ends to, the first snowstorm, we hopefully get a little bit of break in between there, so I can do something.
Right, and so now
other than that, it's just
our
only break.
Yeah, well, and Charlotte has dropped you guys from their program for whatever reason. I don't know.
They had to do something, right?
I was going to say it was tough. I mean, it was a shame. You guys, in the last couple of years got maybe 10 laps of racing in. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I don't know obviously I'm going to be partial to the pro stock. So,
Sure.
I have my own feelings, but if you try not to look at it from your personal point of view, and it's like, what do you do? I mean, they want to get. How do you? Why did the small blocks not deserve a chance to go?
Right.
Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not- it'd be nice if they left it open, be like, hey, we're going to run the small blocks, this year, and then we're going to rotate the sportsmans in, we're going to rotate the pro
Right,
stocks in,
yes,
you know
perfect,
what I mean?
yes.
Just drop
Yep.
us. Dropping us is kind of a jerk thing to do. When a lot of the guys, it's been there's been a core group of guys like Pete, myself,
Hmm.
Phil DeFiglet. There's a core group of guys, Slater and Ryan, that
Right.
you kind of like make us feel like all the loyalty we've had going there is kind of like a kick,
Well, really, well,
makes you feel like you weren't that important. Like, why, you say, hey, we're gonna do this race at 12 hours away. Can you come support us? And we do it for X amount of years. Then, not even a phone call, not a consideration. Like, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing. Just to drop us. It's kind of a
yeah, like you said, they should.
doing that.
It would make more sense, to me as well as a fan to cycle around and bring you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so, this year, that year, whatever, but I say the way the weather has been the last couple of years, they're saving you money, that's for sure. But because
Yeah, but
it's crazy, but I mean,
who cares about them?
No, that-
It is what it is.
oh yeah, you can't.
It's easy to
You
make
can't.
money. It's not easy to go race to Charlotte.
Yes, right. There you go. Yep.
So,
It's,
they're working on a big race for the pro stocks that most people don't know about, which will be a lot
Oh.
of people excited. But,
oh, cool. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but it's not going to take the place of Charlotte. That's a destination for all of us. That's why I told people for years. You got to at least go once to say you did it, because how many years did the pro stocks not go? It was years
Yep.
and years ago when they went.
Yep.
And to have a chance to go back, it's crazy not to at least do it once, as much as you can. And
Yeah, especially
Royal, you got to go when you can go, because you never know when they're going to drop that.
right. Well, especially when the CEO of Dirt has a pro stock, you would think they would
Yeah,
give
well,
a chance. But
shows it's a business decision, not a personal decision, right?
right, no, right.
So a little bit different for him, because he can run his late model or his sprint car or something else. He's not going to miss the race.
Yeah, right.
But
But he had bought a new pro stock last year, so
yeah.
he was looking. Yeah, I was kidding with him. I said, Brian, you're actually passing cars now instead of going the other direction. He said, yeah. He said it's the cars. He said this thing is so good. He said if I put any of these guys like Luke or somebody in that car, he said they would be winning a lot of races. He said, but he said I'm just so happy to be able to be competitive in pass cars. But anyhow, so
He's been a very good asset for the pro stocks.
oh yeah, he's not gonna. Well, like I said, I don't know how much say he had in that whole deal there.
No, he's still got people he has to listen to. He's got the final say, but he's
No,
he's no dummy. They didn't get to where they were by
No. Not. Well, that's right. And, all this time, this is wheel people we probably have over the years, but people try to get to know the drivers. So, what do you actually do to support yourself and your family?
We buy cars. We buy cars. I buy,
Okay.
Typically I like to buy junk cars. We buy a couple every day, but we buy
Okay.
cars on auction to,
Yep.
whether they get parted out, scrapped, or whatever. Becky runs a eBay business,
Okay.
and I got another guy that runs an eBay business that I get a portion of.
Okay.
And we got a couple apartment houses now. But really the cars, just buy cars and try to scrap and recycle them, and then we buy cars from the auction at a little better shape and sell them for a little bit more than what we paid for them, and see how that goes.
Okay.
Used tires, whatever we got to do to not get a real job. Basically.
Yeah, because I remember the old days when you used to drive truck once in a while.
Yeah,
So
drove garbage truck for a long time, and
Right.
maybe someday again, but not. Today.
right.
I've been fortunate enough to build enough connections through these buying cars.
Yeah,
and,
cool.
friends that got their own stuff.
Well, really, to be honest with you, and I'm sure you know this yourself, but after the Obama deal, where they got everybody excuse me, they got rid of all these cars in the lower bracket. It took several years for, I would think, guys like yourself to find these cars that people could actually afford, especially now the new cars costing so much. There's a big niche for you.
Well, it's fortunate that cash for clunker deals, those cars from the dealership still had to go to the junkyard, and they still had to get there somehow.
Right.
Somebody had to buy them from them. They weren't doing it for free.
Right. No, that's for sure.
So,
All right. So that didn't hurt you that
No, I
much.
mean it wasn't like it is now.
No.
You know,
Yep.
but there's a lot of people buying scrap cars right now because the price is high. It's a little too high to be honest. 'Cause,
Okay, yeah.
the theft is back up and the competition's back up. But
Yep.
once it drops back down, but we do, we're fortunate to have pretty much. I think just about all the local garages I buy cars from. The guys like Flanny Hart,
Yep.
drops off, 5-6 cars a year, a couple other towing companies, a couple other garages, body shops, and I try to treat them the best I can, and they know that, so they don't ever question me. And sometimes it's a little bit less than what they would hope, but there's times it's been more than what they were thinking
Sure.
too. So we just try to. They know I'm fair with them, and they've always been good to me. And
That's great. That's great.
yeah, it's
Yep.
worked out.
Yep.
So that we got signs up and billboards. We pay a couple people that have big billboards on their buildings up. We got a couple in Indian Lake. We got one in Mayfield, a couple in Johnstown, and we got some other signs up down in Schenectady. There's one on a building and stuff, and so it's been the advertisements there. And with Facebook, people constantly tagging me.
Yep.
All that helps. People are like, I didn't tag you because I figured you got tagged already, but if somebody, I had messages, get a message, once a week saying, hey, you got tagged a bunch of times in this, and they see somebody get tagged a couple times by multiple people. They're like, well, this guy must be okay.
Right. Right.
Multiple people are recommending him, so that works
Yep.
out really
Well,
good
I'd say
for us.
word of mouth is the best
Yeah,
around.
best
That's for sure.
advertisement,
Yep. So, anyhow, well, thanks for hanging in there, staying awake. I think to make it. It's tomorrow's another day, as we say. Get up
Tomorrow's
and
another day.
go for it. But congratulations on your streak. Hopefully, we didn't. Well, you better win on Friday because then you're blaming on me. But anyway,
Somebody's got to be blamed because I know it's not my fault.
right. Well, good luck the rest of the year. I'm sure we'll catch up with you here certainly by Oswego time again. But keep on the roll and keep Shane sane there or whatever. Keep listening to him, I guess.
He says I'm the one with the mental problems.
Right. Yes.
No, Shane's good.
Yeah. You're right. All right. Okay. Thanks, Luke.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Good night. Alrighty then. Let's. Yep. And you have a lot of you stuck right on through the whole thing. I want to thank Eric and Luke. Eric and I could probably be here for another 2 hours yet, but it's great talking about some of the old stuff. And I got a whole stack of stuff here that we could go through someday and get some more old guys on sometime or other. But we'll see you all at Fonda on Saturday. Please, 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 if you haven't been there in a long time, Saturday is the day, and plan on being there early in the afternoon. You get a discount on your tickets to get in. You can use your rain check from last week and get a $5 food coupon on top of the deal. So it's a win-win all the way around. Stop over to the museum and see the Mohawk Valley Vintage display. And they will also be on the track racing this Saturday night. So it's going to be a huge night at Fonda. Albany Saratoga has the Scone, the sprint cars of New England at Malta for their, I think they're there twice this year. So this will be their first sprint car race at Malta. They had the midgets last week, sprint cars this week. Lebanon Valley has a regular show, and I believe it's a memorial for, I don't know, is that Harrington this week or with some extra money on the line. So a lot of big shows. Glenridge will be back, hopefully, with a regular show. I think Mother Nature is going to cooperate this weekend, hopefully. And we may get a whole ton of racing in. Airborne on Thursday is a 358 series event. So if you haven't been up to Airborne in a while, the show that we didn't get to see at Glenridge last Sunday will be up there. And I'm sure there'll be some betting odds on Mike Mahaney, who has 3 in a row now up at their 358 program is pretty darn good. So if you haven't been up to see the Bruno's run operation, Thursday night is a 358 series event, and then Sunday is a big night at Albany or Utica Rome. Will they be running the rained out Richie Evans event? 56 laps left of the 61. That's free if you want to go and just see that one, and then they're going to kick everybody out, and then you pay your money and go back in, and you can watch another 67 lap, is it? It's a memorial for Alex Friesen. I believe Stewie will be there on that Sunday, I believe. So a big, that's over 120 laps of modified big block feature events at Utica, plus their regular show on Friday. I think they're having the pro stocks and the sportsmen both on Sunday, so it's a pretty much a regular show, but it's not. It's big blocks for the modified division, and a lot of bang for your buck out at Utica on Sunday. So a full weekend. So hopefully you've saved up your nuggets and be able to go, because it's Fonda's big show of the year, the 75th celebration. Come to see the old timers and even the new guys who are kicking everybody's butt. So we'll see you hopefully at Fonda on Saturday. I'm going to head up to Airborne on Thursday. Utica Rome on Sunday, Friday and Sunday, or Sunday only. That's right. I don't think they're on the Friday. Anyway, Sunday is their big day at Utica. Anyhow, we'll see ya at the races. Keep it between the boards, and we will be back next Monday night. Good willing, Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, as they say. Good night now.